May have ended up back out on Colt.
Yeah, he did. They had a car stop and stuff. I'm going to drive back by Louisiana and pick him up.
Yeah, he belongs to somebody.
Yeah, I hated that. I just don't want to see him get hit
Yeah.
because he seemed kind of.
When do you have to turn my hair on?
Yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. We'll go ahead and get this meeting started. First thing we'd like to do is call it to order and call the roll.
Magistrates Craycraft,
Present.
Pasley,
Here.
Constantopoulos,
Present.
Lanton,
Here.
Davis.
Present.
Miller.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, but I'd like to welcome Pastor Ross from the Oasis Foursquare Church. He will lead us in the invocation, and then please remain standing for the pledge.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you so much for another day that you've given us to be able to live. And Lord, I just thank you today for this time that we have, that we're gathering together. And Lord, I thank you for each and every person that is represented here, for the leaders that you've placed among us and in our county. And Lord, I just ask right now that you would give them wisdom, just as it says in the book of James, that anyone who lacks wisdom, let him ask and it will be given to him liberally. And so Lord, we ask for that wisdom to come upon this place here and now. Holy Spirit, that you would speak to each and every one that is making decisions, that you would lead and guide them. Lord, that there would be a unity of heart, mind, and spirit that would lead this county in the ways that it needs to go. Lord, that there would be wisdom on how to see the things that are the strongholds and the things that are holding this county back, that those would be able to have decisions made to bring those down. Lord, we can do nothing without your help. We can do nothing without your guidance. And so, Lord, we just ask for your guidance among all things. Lord, that we would turn our hearts to you, that we would seek you first, and that we can truly say that not only are we one nation under God, but that this county is under God as well. Father, we thank you, we love you, and we give this time to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
This is Jersey Lane from Strode Station Elementary, 3rd grade. She's going to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a special called meeting, so there's actually just two items on the agenda. The first one was, we're getting ready to try to hire a new county treasurer. And what I was wanting to ask the court here is we've had about 5 or 6 applications. And how do you want to proceed with that? Do we want to have a committee? How would we normally do that?
When are we going to close applications?
I would say probably, we've talked the 15th of this month or so.
Have either a special meeting or a closed session, just compile all the resumes and all of us. Last time we did a committee, and I think Magistrate Blayton served on that committee, and Magistrate Elkins, and who was the other one?
I can't remember.
But
Judge
the
Pace.
judge.
Yeah,
the
judge, yeah.
Judge is that I know that a couple of the other magistrates had questions about the process and wanted to get more information, so I just assumed do it all together, but it's whatever the court desires.
So maybe in a closed session, is that what we're thinking?
To review the applications and see who you want to interview, I guess.
Okay.
That's all right.
Sounds pretty logical.
I don't know.
You know if Mary put her name in? Good.
Like I said, just for discussion, just to see, how we needed to proceed on that. The item number 6 will be the Clark County Fiscal Court budget for the years 23-24. And I think everybody should have their information, their packets.
Oh, we both got ours today, don't we?
I'm making my life a lot easier. Instead of trying to write on my leg.
No.
Oh, I thought you had your laptop, you were popping up.
Oh,
Just a
no,
workshop,
I
so we're
wish.
not really doing anything settling it. Okay, all right.
Ready to start? Do we?
This is your office.
Shouldn't be the top real estate property tax.
I just want to look at receipts first.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll start off, I'll just tell you, after I reviewed the budget, the biggest concern that I have, and something that I think we've gotta fix, is that we're using 3.5 million of the ARPA funds to balance the jail, or to balance the budget, not the jail budget. Sorry, Ernie. To balance the whole budget. And so if you use that whole 3.5 million to balance that, then what do you do next year? And next year you don't have the ARPA funds, and then the ARPA funds are gone, and then you don't have anything to show for it. So that was my initial review of
I agree.
the budget.
Judge, I think the question you had that we talked about, you said that if we don't use the ARPA funds, then there'll be some left over this year that we don't have. Where do we get the money from? Is that a true statement?
I'm sorry, say it one more
We
time.
were saying we were gonna run a little short. We're gonna run a little short if we don't balance that. So
Well,
where will we get those funds from if we don't use that?
Yeah, we went over it extensively, and somewhere we have to come up with, as of right now, somewhere around $3 million. So either we've got to come up with more money, or we've got to cut spending, one or the other. And that's what this is all about here, is trying to figure out how we're going to do that.
Well, a couple things that I noticed, if we're on the receipt side, if we go down and go line item by line item, I've got a few that I've highlighted where I think that we've underestimated what our actual receipts will be, just based on extrapolating out what our current financials are showing us, and then also previous years. But the first one is the real property tax. We've got 1.9 million as the budget. The actual that we've received year to date was almost $2 million. Depending on what rate we set in September for our tax rate, if you keep the rate same, you're going to increase it. So I think you could take that real property tax to $2,050,000, and that would be a safe number for the real property tax. $2,050,000. The tangible personal property, I don't know, do y'all agree with that, disagree with it, or?
Hey, I mean, we've almost taken in 2 million as of this, and this was even before April was over, although I know most of the tax receipts have been already received, so. But considering, there's gonna be certainly people have their assessments go up this year.
I've already heard from people.
Yeah, so I guess those letters have already gone out to some property owners, so I would think it'd be smart to assume we're gonna get in probably conservatively over 2 million. So I think 2,050,000 is reasonable to me.
That definitely helps.
Another 150,000 in revenue, so.
These numbers are March the 1st, right, Alicia?
Yes,
Okay, just to make sure.
April the 12th or something. I would put there at least, like March,
What would you say on tangible, probably 210?
210 is where
210
I was
on
at
tangible.
that, yeah.
So
I mean, you
10
may get a
then.
little bit more, but I mean, to be more accurate and conservative, I mean, 210 is where I was at too. I thought the ad valorem, the motor vehicle tax is, right there, what it's been in previous years, delinquent tax, bank franchise deposit. I mean, you're a little less, but I wouldn't change it that much. The franchise, court. You know, I was looking at, just based on my numbers, about 250.
My only problem with, the number is that those,
With franchise, you mean?
yeah, those are, not they're not a set amount that comes in, and it is based on the Department of Revenue, like the tax, the businesses. So, one year, that can be a lot, and then the next year,
Could be less.
I think do less, or I think they're gonna have a delay in the billing or something like that. But, I mean, if you all feel comfortable with that, that's just, the reasoning for the 200.
Well, as of this, we've almost got 245 in, so I think 250 is reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I don't see it going down,
No.
but I mean, it could, but I mean, it's just, all you do is shoot. The next on the occupational, you all had it you had it 1.6. Based on the historical data on the occupational and extrapolating that out, is that we're gonna be closer to 2.1 million. You look at the end of fiscal year 2022, we did, let me find it here. Occupational, I mean, we did, almost 2 million last fiscal year, and then we're on track to do the
Did you say 2.1?
2 point. And then the city payroll, I mean, the city payroll tax sharing, we had 300 and we're at
380.
380.
I think some of that's coming to an end, though. We had with the school board and some others,
I
I think.
think that's got 5 more years on it, if
I
I'm not
didn't-
mistaken, 3 or 5 more years on it,
I thought it had 2, but maybe not.
but it won't affect this budget, right?
I don't think so, but I know it's coming to an end.
Well, what do you think, 380 on that one? Is that what you're thinking, Daniel?
That's what I plugged into my numbers when I was
Yeah,
evaluating.
we've-
Do you have any qualms with that, Alicia?
I don't, I mean, the ones, and make sure that we don't, they were not behind on their payments, but, I mean, I don't think so.
So 380
Well,
even.
what we had in 2022,
Do you have that?
let's see here. Man, I need glasses, I think. They were at 275 last year. Last fiscal year.
They say per million, but we collected that, that's an issue. Yeah,
You know, I had to ask
we're
about
over
that.
budgeted on that.
Where are we going? On city payroll tax.
Are we looking at 380, is that what you said?
I'm fine with 380.
I'm fine with 380.
I think the deed transfer, the insurance license tax, the net profit tax, I think that's all in line.
Well, let's go back to that for a second. The deed transfer, looks like we've taken in almost 170 as of the date of this.
Oh, I had a typo too.
What's that?
I had a typo in my thing.
What about maybe just, probably would collect more than this, maybe bump that 160 to 170 for deed transfer. We've taken in about that much already as of this. Yeah.
I have 2 months.
Why don't we say 170 on that one? Is everybody okay with that?
Yep, okay.
Then on insurance, you know, we've taken in almost 910,000.
I've got a question. transfer? You wanna move it towards heavy, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 170,000
I was looking
even.
at the wrong one.
It's just a $10,000
Right.
bump, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
And what about on insurance license tax? We've taken in almost, as of this document, we've taken almost 910,000. The new budget amount is 900. How often is that, has that collected?
We were
It's
at
a per quarter.
Per
We were
quarter?
at 1.5, or excuse me, 1,052,983 last year.
Is what we took
Is
in?
what we actually took in for the insurance license fee tax, yeah.
So why can we go 950 on that?
1 million.
A million even.
Million
A
even?
million even, yeah. If that's close to what we took in.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a little less than what we took in, sounds like.
We're probably bringing it in, I'm gonna bring it in for this year too. It still has lots to process.
On the,
What's the reason on the next one that the receipts are so much lower than what we budgeted? What would be the reason for that?
the taxes just shut down on April 15th, and it's a company's net profit, so they do all their taxes. Some may have extensions,
Gotcha. That makes sense.
and doing their processing of all that, and
You feel pretty comfortable leaving that at a million, Alicia?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
now last year on net profits, we brought in 1.6 million.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
Now
you think it's gonna be that this year?
I don't think you should move it.
Okay.
Okay.
You okay leaving it there?
I'm fine leaving it there. I'm just saying that, I'm just giving you the numbers.
Okay.
Yep,
Numbers.
yep.
It's like-
Maybe we'll
I'm
be,
just giving you numbers.
maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, bring in a little bit more. That's
Hope for the
great,
best,
but-
expect the worst, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay. My next question was on county attorney excess fees. You know, according to this, we budgeted 10,000 prior year. Prior receipts was 0, but yet we billed 10,000 again. You should do.
We brought them in out prior to, out of the fiscal year.
Okay.
And so they were out of the prior year. And I think they were like 8,000. I could be wrong on that, but.
You feel good about the 10 though? Okay, that's fine.
kind of a-
And same with the rental reimbursement, the
Mhm.
8712. Okay. And then the,
We missed that fee tax for the 911.
oh, okay, oh yeah, go back to that.
I mean, that's a wash because we pay it to the city.
We pay that to the city.
Uh-huh. It's off the runner. Oh, it comes off of the 911 fees. That we pay to them.
Yeah.
You can move it if you want to, but it's not really gonna do anything.
Clerk excess fees.
Clerk excess fees, looks like, we got it at 200 from last year, but we took in 158 and change, and then you got it at 150. Could we go higher than that 150, you think? I don't know.
Last year we were 352.
That was a big year.
That
That was a big year, I mean, with COVID and all that, and like I was telling Daniel while he asked me, you know, I can't anticipate, you know, what our dealers are, you know, dealers are doing, what they're gonna bring in.
So it's got a little more swing to it.
Well,
The same.
what about, what about instead, we did 200 last year, what about maybe 175? Is that out of the realm of possibility?
It is what it is. I mean, I really can't.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
I can't anticipate. I was just going off of the number that we brought in for this year.
Yeah.
Because I know that the one before, that was, I was like, that's a not normal year.
Yeah.
So I was just basing it off of.
That's a one-time
What
transfer.
we knew.
At the, yeah, we'll get it, yeah.
Right,
We'll get it at the end, we'll get it until,
March.
Yeah, March.
Yeah, March 15th is my deadline to turn that over.
I'm fine with that, if you wanna do it.
175 or?
I don't foresee us having to purchase any large things or anything this year, or
Okay.
watch me say that, and then,
Hey, guys, I need to.
Did I mention?
watch me say that.
Hey, Alicia,
Yes.
One question, right above that, on the county attorney rental reimbursement, they had a new rental agreement,
It should go up.
that should go up,
Okay.
I can't
which would
remember.
be, what do we budget in there is 20, hold on, I got it here, I just gotta look for it here. It's 20,000, so 20,000, and it's pays, what is it? 100%, isn't it?
No, it's
Or
not. No, it's not 100.
Do you know the percentage?
I can't recall the percentage. We'll figure out what it was this year and you'll know.
Percentages, yes, I was like,
Yeah.
let me see.
So I would think we would have received some this year already, but apparently we haven't. It's not on here.
We've not yet.
They usually pay us every, they usually pay us every 6 months, so we should have received some in January, February.
Getting back to mine, we did pick up another car lot, so that may help us as well.
Yeah, why don't we, on that,
66%.
So 20,000 times 66%. So it should be 13.2.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I knew it should have gone up, but I wasn't sure the percentage.
That's 66%, yeah.
There's a reason this jumped so dang high.
The county,
On the sheriff's excess fee, why do we go from 10 grand to 100 grand?
But before we go to that,
Oh.
let's go back to that clerk excess fee. Are we okay with
gotcha.
175 on that? I mean, you said you picked up another car lot, so it's not outrageous. Let's do 175 on the
All
clerk.
right, all right.
Sorry.
That's okay. Going back to that original question, what did we jump from the 10,000 and then it budgeted, we went to 133 is what we collected, and then we're going to 100? What was the reason for the big jump?
Okay, so, in the last calendar year, so, as a calendar, out of 22, the fiscal court, assisted, out of the sheriff's office, with a parish support at the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
100,000. And then also the sheriff, they collected a lot more fees, in the taxes, so they got to turn over a lot more,
Okay.
in their fees. So that is why it is a 100, I went 133, because it was a 100,000, and then.
Correct.
They were, I think to turn over the 33,000 also.
That makes sense. Thank
So it
you.
was just a little bit more, that they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
There was also another factor, we were several months after even deputy short, we were good 5 million high.
Yeah.
So we won't pay salaries and benefits out.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Do you feel like that 100, we ought to keep that at 100, Alicia?
I think that'd be comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Comfortable with that?
Dog license fee, below that, could we take that to 25?
The previous year last year, we did 32,000 in that. You could probably almost take it to 30.
Well, let's do it to
Yeah,
30.
let's go to 30. Everybody okay with 30 on that?
Telecom tax, that's the next one that caught my attention, Alicia. What'd we do on that one previous year, Daniel?
42,000. I'd bumped it before I got this, because I actually requested that this morning. I had it bumped to 40,000 for this year, but previous year we did 42,000.
Like 3,300 a month or something along those lines. It is, $3,500 a month.
Excuse me, how much? 45?
35.
3,500? Okay.
35.
3,500, yeah.
So I say you can bring it to 40 and be comfortable with that.
Okay.
All right, 40,000 it is.
This all looks good.
Let's take the ARPA out.
So are we taking the telecom tax to 42,000?
Yeah, 40.
40 even.
40 even.
And the waste haul permits, and I think that's right on the,
Mm-hmm.
right on the money.
What about, I caught this one earlier, but I guess that's motor vehicle tax to other counties. Is that where
In
we're
other counties.
taking transfers from other
Right.
Kentucky counties? Looks like we did well with that. I
We
mean,
did.
we,
And part of that, where I'm open on Saturdays, and so.
You come in
won't-
here on-
You won't bleed the people that come here from all these other
so
counties.
if somebody
on
like
Saturdays.
comes from Wolf County and wants to do a transfer here, they bring.
I had a couple from Jefferson, Louisville, Saturday.
Wow.
So we could bump that to
This
35.
one is actually the one from the others that, they collected, they collected, they're ours in another county.
Yes.
And, that check, it comes in, I looked about a quarter. And it was, it's from the state. So you never know, look what it's gonna be.
What did we do on there last year, Daniel?
Right at 34,591, so you could put it at 35.
35, yeah.
Yeah, when we do 35,000 on that one.
Because I just brought in another one, I think, for 20,000, so it's probably pretty reasonable.
So we do, what'd you say, 35,000, Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do 35,000. Good deal. We're getting you there, Judge.
Keep going, I'm good.
We're getting you there.
He's cheering us, he's cheering us.
Getting you. All right.
I think the fire state grants, the animal shelter grant, litter grant, ambulance service grant, spade and neuter grant, I mean, it's all passed through.
Yep.
Election, refund is 10, I know we had a little bit more. What was that for?
Precincts, it's of the amount,
And my poll workers,
yeah,
okay. So, and you all went back
Is
to
that
our proceed.
reimbursement?
no, it's other reimbursement, I'm from the state.
Oh, okay.
For the precincts, that we get the 275 or something,
Right.
precinct or whatever it is. Yeah. It's a per precinct, we get per election.
Now, the courthouse
Courthouse rental.
rental's 175, and I don't think it's changed any, let me see here.
I just got that agreement in upstairs, I don't know the numbers, I'm sorry.
4532.
What is the sheriff KLEFPF?
The sheriff, I could probably explain that a little better than me.
Law enforcement fund, that's the incentive.
It's-
Lead fund,
Cliff.
yeah, that's training stipend.
Training incentive.
Each deputy or police officer gets keeping their op certification.
Okay.
We received 176,000 on the courthouse rental last year.
What was that amount again?
But we just got a new agreement, so I would think that agreement probably went up a little bit, didn't it?
I don't think so, but I'm gonna check.
How much you say it was this past year?
175.
175.
We brought in 176,
Oh, six, sorry.
525.58.
I thought we'd have got some kind of a bump. Maybe not.
What was the firefighter incentive last year?
It's just passed through.
101, 892.
$101? So that'd be a question. Yeah, so we did this last year, we're pumping to here. We only collected this much, I don't remember.
I don't know what the reason is for that one.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Ask her.
172 is the agreement.
So we ought to just plug in 172, shouldn't we? As opposed to 175?
Yeah, 172.
172.
That's the courthouse rental.
Yes.
How do we get our expenditures above the money that we receive? Or, I mean, the receipt above the money that we're supposed to be receiving?
Ernest, pull your thing down.
Oh, not in the on the financial report. On when you extrapolate it out, you're coming up to about 192. But we can't extrapolate because it's a contract, right?
I say that is probably that the new quarter, it got, I'm gonna put into, the new year.
Yeah.
But it would mean that I would have
With 5 quarters
It's right,
this year
exactly.
versus 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Rather than 4, it's just the way that it came in,
Yeah. It'd have to be.
yeah. I had to guess.
The firefighter retirement, you had it 45, you had bumped it up to 45. I was thinking more line than 50, but any thoughts on that?
I think 45 is the percentage of the incentive. I think that'll take, like, the retirement. I think percentage that they gave me for the retirement, and I did that by the incentive, and that is where I got the 45. So as long as they pay, as long as they pay out, I think that incentive, because that's a reimbursement, and so that's a wash.
So the retirement's a wash?
Yeah, and other supplements. Other retirement, we already paid.
Going back to that firefighter incentive, we got that 88, and then it went, now we're saying 120, and we only collected 101 the year before, so tell me about that, what's going on with that?
Because it is the amount that are paid, that are paid out to full-time firefighters. So if we don't have as many firefighters, then we don't pay out as much.
That's correct.
Then we don't get as much back.
Gotcha.
That's a reimbursement.
So you're pretty comfortable with the 120 on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, because I would still have had a few more payrolls,
sure.
and it's about 4,000 a payroll, 4,500 a payroll at the moment. That's just some disbursement on the other side.
My next question was gonna be home incarceration fees.
Yes.
Yep, that's where I was at.
That's the one I have too. We should be more close to 75,000 extrapolated out based
Yeah.
on what our financials are.
You okay with 75? 75,000 for HI
I
fees?
mean, I'm trying to see what we did last year, but I know we've picked up quite a bit.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know that it's a good comparison
It's not.
between the two.
We did 42, but we've picked up so much. But if you extrapolate where we're at and just look at the difference between March and April's
Yeah.
financials, you had a big bump, and that's gonna continue for 2 more months.
Does
you already had for?
So you're okay with 75,000? Okay.
Which line's that on?
Home incarceration fees, that's
46.
014624.
624.
Right the middle of the page there.
Gotcha.
She's got it at 50, we're gonna take it to 75.
Now, backing up to the CSEP reimbursement, that's going to end in a couple of years, right?
Right.
Okay, so-
And there's on the expense side, Steve, there's a $600,000 line item for special CSEP, which is
Yeah.
pass-through.
Yeah.
So that entire thing is all passed through.
Yeah.
So we won't get the money unless we spend it.
Okay.
And it meets their approved spending. I
Right,
shouldn't say if we spend it, but approved expenditures.
Exactly the same on the other side, so it's a wash.
The line item, you've got 4727 reimbursement.
That's where I was at.
That looks like, what does that represent, those reimbursements?
Currently, it has a reimbursement from, who gave us the money up for the, the poll books.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Got the poll books
I
in
got
it, and something else is in there.
So that was just a one-time,
I mean, we kind of leave the line item in there.
I understand, but that
Yeah,
that
it's
amount
just
was a
one-time.
one, I
Yeah.
got, I understand.
It's just kind of a,
Understand.
it's just kind of a catch-all, like line item for all reimbursements that we receive.
What about 4731 clerk payment for fringe? Looked like we had budgeted 225, 189. I don't know if you extrapolate that, what that's gonna work out to be. Daniel, it's line item
Let me look at
4731P.
Last year's too. Now, clerk payment for fringe last year was 255,000.
Is what we received, right?
That's what we received, yes. So, I mean, I don't think we would go any less than that. because-
Set it at 250 even?
Yeah.
Yeah, 255.
Okay, let's just do 250 even on fringe.
And then sheriff payment for fringe, we did 158,000.
I would not anticipate that that would come in because that's the retirement, that is adult health insurance. And it's not gonna come in that way. Because a lot of them, they don't take our coverage.
They don't take our coverage.
So I don't know that I would move that a lot more.
Okay.
Could we do, you would move it over 100, maybe to 120?
That's up to you all, but I just don't anticipate it.
Well, we've already collected, according to this, we've already collected more than 100, and this is as of March, collected 103,
That's
10.
one-time payment,
Oh,
that came in December.
well,
So it's not gonna come in anymore.
We'll leave it at 100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we just leave it at 100, yep.
so that's all that's gonna come in.
I would, as it's just minor, but with interest rates going up on that very bottom line item on the bottom of the page, 4801 interest on deposits, could we maybe take that to from 10 to 15? I mean, with deposit rates going up, I don't know what,
Well, but ours, it doesn't change, it's a 0.65,
I see.
is ours, and, we don't have, it depends on the cash in the bank, so.
I understand.
mean,
I understand.
it
Leave
is-
it as it is.
I was like.
Quibble over it.
Explain that, but,
I got you.
okay, okay.
One thing you need to put in there is the, the formula's messed up.
the last, out of the pages. Out of general fund. These are below the line items, so they're not out part of the, operating. So the prior year carryover is a cash in the bank, that we bring over, so whatever, the bank balance is as of, June the 30th. So it is what it is when it comes over.
One question though.
Sure.
You have budgeted, previous year, we overshot it.
Absolutely.
Because we had 3.8 and we only ended up bringing 2.5. But you have budgeted 1.4. We currently at the end of April, we have 1.5. We have I know we have several net profits but it just take our revenue that we normally is about 800 and some $1,000. I think we calculated it today, $800,000 for the next 2 months, and our normal expenses. I know last month was high, but we had some, unusual expenses for that much, which caused a deficit to bring that down 500. But we should have at least $100 to $150,000 surplus each month, provided that other additional net profit tax and stuff that we're waiting on. So I mean, I think we could potentially bump that up a little bit.
That is a plug number, that I needed in order to balance all the budget out.
Right.
So that number is just gonna change, I'm just gonna change it up. Based. The changes. I think I'll do for the budget. So, I mean, that is just.
It'll change
just a
itself.
plug number.
Yeah.
But
It'll change itself, won't it?
You can change it, but I agree with
Yeah.
her. It is a plug number. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got it as a plug number on my spreadsheet.
Sure.
But you can set it actually what it is.
You can
and then
anticipate
You can use
it.
another number as a plug number
Sure.
to whether you
Yeah.
put, if you
Yeah.
have excess into contingency or
Yeah.
whatever you want to do at that point.
So where would be a more comfortable spot, to put the prior year carryover?
I mean, based on I'm asking you this question because you look at it each and every day, but I mean, based on the calculations, I mean, right at 2 million would probably be a conservative. I think a conservative just based on 1.5 million and then the extra $100,000 that we have for the next 2 operating months.
Hopefully.
So that would be 1.6, 1.7, on there. And then you've got the other hospital. I mean, that's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but.
What do you want to set it at?
Well, we can use it as a plug number. I mean, either way, if we don't use any of the ARPA, it's gonna plug in and it'll be like 2 million, it'll probably be, well, depending on what you do on the expense side of it, 2.8. Now the good news is on the transfer out amount,
It's gonna change.
that's gonna change because the initial budget was 1.8, and then, of course, y'all got the email and everything that the that the jail went back, so that number's gonna decrease to 1.396777,
Yeah, that's a big help.
which is a huge help. Ernie, appreciate you, and Frank,
Yeah, big thanks for that.
Yep.
that helps.
Yep.
If you can get a couple more hundred out of there, it's even better.
Keep squeezing
Keep
that
working,
lemon.
keep
Ernie.
working.
We're gonna try to overshoot revenue.
There you go.
2,217,000 projected, and I think it's easily attainable. I'd like to go for that 45, that's one of the things I'd like to go for.
But the good news, you budgeted for 40, and I think the last report, you were right around 37.
Yeah.
So, which is an uptick from what we
Yeah.
were all of last.
I think we're at
And
26.
that's very, the reason Jalen Doyle couldn't be here
tonight, is I received a call that at 5 o'clock you need to be at the federal courthouse, we have 2 more for you. So we're going after that revenue every chance we get. I appreciate being able to hire a couple more, because Jailer Doyle and Captain Newsom, that's not the highest and best use of their time. And by having 2 people that aren't eligible for, I should say eligible, aren't scheduled for overtime, that helps keep the cost down too. Not only transporting federal inmates, but bringing them over here to court, taking them on medical runs, which happens every day. So we do appreciate that. Thank you.
And then hopefully with that new contract on Wednesday agenda, it's gonna help with all the transport back and forth to courts and everything. If,
Well,
when
you're
that gets,
talking about the AOC and
Mhm.
yes, that will, it'll help keep costs down, cost savings, but it's also safer. Because when you're transporting an inmate, just walking across, you're liable to run into their victims' families who may want to do harm, and that puts the public in danger as well. So that will be a huge impact.
So back to the prior year carryover. Are we up in that number? Are we expecting that to be a higher number?
well, if you do, it's however you do it. If you do a plug and play, like she says, I mean, it's gonna be dictated on what you do with the expenses. And you don't use any ARPA funds. I mean, it could be anywhere from 2 million to 2.8, depending on what you do with the expenses.
Would it be,
Right now, if we, if we leave all the numbers on the expenses, if we leave them all the same, if we leave all the receipts. By the way that you've adjusted them, we need.
That'd be 10,717,130.
2.04 in order to balance. So, means you need to increase the receipt side, or you need to decrease.
well, maybe we go over to the receipts for now. We come back, we jump back to that later.
So we did make a $1 million change, is on the net change.
In revenue.
How many times on
With the revenue,
Screwed up.
that is not including
that?
the ARPA
170,
funds.
did you see that?
So there's a $1 million, I would change the only.
Let me ask you, Alicia, on that, so do you have right now as your total revenue with the changes, 10,717,130?
I didn't do like that, I just did the change amounts. So I just know there's a net change of $1 million. Other than the ARPA funds.
Other than the ARPA
Yeah,
funds?
yeah, I'm not including that at the moment.
Okay, so that would be, because we started out at, what, the 13,
At 12, I was 787.
787.
you're looking after the other thing, okay.
Oh, yeah,
You're
sorry.
looking at the other one,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm doing the complete, I got you. You're using
I'm looking at
the
just the
operating.
total revenue.
You're looking at the other one.
Yeah, I got you. I was like, which, I mean, and then we'll have a slight change, up for the jail as well, so I don't know if that amount. Well, I don't think we get it.
You want the amount? He's got it.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's a good other contribution. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Nice.
It's an extra, I can afford it, afford it 40, so it gets you down to, 2 million. So you need to make the adjustment.
If we don't
Right,
make any adjustments on the others.
right. Okay. I'm ready to move on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have the general fund.
We didn't discuss anything on the road receipts,
Do not, those are all.
fixed,
Pass through.
pass through, you know.
Pass through.
Well, I knew that. I just want to make sure that there's been no change in the state amounts we're getting. Need to be adjusted. They all look in them.
The agreements and, all of the grant contracts, so.
Okay to you, Alan? All right. Next.
Thumbs up.
Jail receipts are,
2.252
Yep, that's it.
That's right.
That's what we got.
All right.
and then
And the jail, we're obviously, I would need, to change it. I will put the new numbers,
the jails will change with the new numbers.
yes. And then we don't have any, way to go around it. I have numbers, I'll plug all of those in,
Okay.
so there's not really a discussion there.
And then the composting grant, I mean, that's pretty much
Skip the, zero for.
what I missed.
LGA.
LGA, I mean,
We don't
it's,
get any more money in, so it's, just.
It's gone.
It is what it is.
about it, over.
And the bank
gone.
interest, they call it impact money, and we don't get any more. So, it's just like they're to spend. The state grants, we are not applying.
No more
Compost
composting.
grant, because we've exhausted, the allowable purchase list. We don't need anything else from the list that is an allowable purchase. So he's gonna take a break from the composting grant. for a year.
there's nothing else we can,
You know, they deny the stuff that I need now, so, no fencing or anything like that. They don't pay for that.
it's a good program, though, it's working out well. So, I know it's been a model for some other counties and stuff too, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've had several constituents said that they appreciated it and thought it was a good deal for what they got.
I tell you, the cost savings that we were having to pay for the regular.
Oh, yeah, the pickups.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Cause I mean, what was it that one winter that we had that it was,
We had 48 in one day,
cause we were pushing almost,
$100 a head.
Yeah, I don't know, say it. Might-
and we'd normally budgeted like 40,000 and we were hitting over 150.
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that is why, that's what the state grant, $0. It's just gonna be the account, and it's gonna sit there, for you all. If you all need more state grants, I need more. And the federal grants, that is all the, just the ARPA funds, all of the commingled, with, like additional funds or anything, so that's all that's gonna be in there. So we've already gotten all of our money, so all we are going to get is a bank interest. for the
So
money.
the interest on this deposit.
However, if we don't have to
Yes.
bring that money into the budget, and it stays where it is for now at least, we could potentially make a little more interest than
Yes.
this on it.
Yes. I can adjust it, based on, what you all do.
Or maybe we take that a little, at least 10,000, you know, if we can,
Yes.
would be my thinking. Pretty another.
And then the ABC licenses, and those are voted by the judge's office. It is the time of the year that we bring them in, so the amount that is budgeted at the moment, and we've only brought in, I believe. That amount, that is, not a correct amount. I think that the 2,000 is a pretty good amount, that they will bring in, and then the bank interest. Next one is the document fees. This is an account that we keep. For the clerk's office, you all don't, really, I don't have control over it. I have control to keep it for the clerk's office, so it's a new account, so. Just
which you have to, you know.
Yeah, we just get to
They
hold
took
it
that,
for
they took
her.
that away from me, yes.
Unfunded mandate.
That's right, you know, I mean, anytime I, you know, I just have to,
She's gonna tell me that she wants
Wow.
a check and I write a check. It doesn't even go through court. It's weird. I don't like it.
But yeah, we're responsible for it.
Yeah, I'm responsible for signing the check and
Well,
I don't have to run it through court. It's
right,
weird.
the reason that it was getting turned over in excess fees,
Right.
and that's not what the association, that's not what it was intended for. But it
It's
can
the
only be,
general fund instead
that's
of
right,
actually
so
being-
it cannot be mixed in with my excess fees. And I can only use that money on the real estate side. I cannot use it for elections or for vehicles.
Is that a new law that changed?
It went to July of last year, so like you said, if I decide to do anything on the, I just come to her and say, hey, I need 5,000, I need 7,000, you know.
She brings.
So you are just like holding it, it's like a savings account, you are just
Yeah,
holding it for me.
her, Yeah, she pays it over, she pays it over, and we hold it for her. The next one is for the opioid abatement money. What we've gotten for, the year is all that we will get, out of 5 years, that I know of. So I did not budget for new amounts. I also didn't put a bank interest in there, I'm sorry about that, I'll put something in there.
So I got a question about that, Alicia. You say this is a 5-year amount?
Yes, from what I know, it should be the Johnson & Johnson amount and, what was the other one?
Just,
Pfizer.
3 different distributors,
Right.
drug, I don't remember the names, but 1 manufacturer and 3 distributors.
So, they said that this is the amount for 5 years.
5 years, and it
Yeah.
was over and done.
Oh, okay, I thought we did it again.
Do we get that as one lump sum, or is that dispersed out over 5 years?
It was a one time.
And then we use it for the next 5 years?
Yeah, instead of dragging it out over 5 years, they paid 1 lump sum.
There you go.
But isn't there additional money, another round of that that's?
I believe there's another one, but I don't know what we're going to get.
What do you want to add to interest on that?
Oh.
1,000?
Yeah, 1,000.
Okay, let's do 1,000 on that.
Yeah, it'll change the disbursement side is all it's going to do.
1,000 on that. All right.
And then the next one is a special, a reserve account. This, I would hold that. A community foundation grant, and a court settlement for the shelter, where they get, monies that is gifted, to them on like a death or something, like a gift. Out of money, I don't know if, additional funds that are going to be received into that, unless we have the court knows something.
So the prior year carryover, is that in regards to because we have unencumbered special funds, correct? That are not allocated for any specific purpose?
That's gonna be on the disbursements.
But I'm just looking at the cash in hand. So 560 is what you're projecting, okay.
Yeah, and then we'll get the new amount, I think, through the foundation, and that's what they said that the check is 110.
This entry of the insurance proceeds of Old Stone Church Road, what is that?
And this year we got a check for like damages at that property. At the time, the judge, Judge Branham, we had talked that, yes, the residents of that road, that they want to buy that property in the future, or that somebody, they want to buy that property, and, I could not tell you the details about that, but they wanted to keep it all separate, and that way that when they do come to buy the property off of the county, that prior carryover. I think just separate it out in the prior carryover, just to make sure we keep it all separate with the shelters. Any more questions? After the receipt side,
I'm good.
for the moment, is this one's gonna be
Is there,
a lot.
one quick question, and okay, so we still have 167,000 left for that was the I don't say endowment, but the inheritance for the animal shelter. For,
That's at the moment, if she doesn't, I don't know if she's if she's I'll find the details. Those are specific, for the shelter,
I think that was two different ones, I believe.
yes. Okay, appropriations.
yay.
So just for a background, I'm kind of taking this over, I'm sorry. The first number is, the title of the fund, and so the 01 is, that's the general fund. The 02 is the road, and so forth. And the middle number is called the major code, and that is the department code. So the 5001 is the judge's office, the 5005 is the county attorney's office, and we'll describe them as we go down. And then the last, out of 4 digits is the minor code, and that is the descriptor, and that is based the DOG manual. So all of these numbers are based off the DOG manual. So if you're curious, that's why all the codes are there. It's up with other receipts also, I guess. More.
I think the judge's salaries, what the judge's salaries
It's
is.
fixed, yeah.
I did put in a 6.5% if there was a 6.5
Now,
in the new year.
now the deputy judge and the finance officer, those were both set at 35.6 already, correct?
Setting the salaries, I do not know, but
No, when we set the salaries, we set those at 35.6. Am I correct on, is that the right number, 35.6?
Right.
That's what it was, for administrative assistant.
For the administrative assistant, so we had 55 in one line item and you got 50,600 in another. So if you allow for an increase or something, I mean, take those to 38.
That's fine.
Don't you think that's a little bit too low? I mean, you gotta let me somehow hire the appropriate staff, and, the dilemma that you have, if you set that salary that low, you cannot hire the caliber of an individual that you need to be in that position. So I would recommend, as a minimum, and since these are budget numbers, at least as a minimum, leave them where they're at.
Well, the finance officer, we already have somebody in that position at 35.6.
Yeah, and we know that's not going to 50,600.
But if they take on more duties like before, could we not come back to the court and ask to be paid more?
Well, we could revisit it. I mean, I'd entertain, if it's something that's, a legitimate increase in duties, but if it's just what the person's doing right now, I'd say set it at 40,000 even. So we've got obviously some room for an increase, but I'm not gonna go to 50,600 and just immediately budget that. I think 40 even for that's fair.
Go on the deputy judge or what?
Oh, on finance officer, where we've already got the person in place.
I just want to make a comment too, going back to the deputy judge. I did talk to Janet the other day, and she had mentioned that the deputy, she thought the salary was low also, with what was being done. So we might want, when we do revisit that, we might want to maybe chat with her a little bit why she was saying that. But she said that with the amount of work and the amount of things that are done, she recommended that it would be higher. And I value her opinion also.
Well, you know, we talk about all the other departments, what a struggle it has been to hire qualified employees. And we talk about how much every department needs more money, we need higher wages. But yet when we come to the judge executive's office, we're doing just the opposite. And that's the issue I have with it. You know, we have got to get competent people in these positions. And in today's society, the only way you're going to do that is you've got to pay them a decent salary.
But we can revisit that, right?
Well, I mean, you gotta plug a number in there now for the budget. I mean, you know, you could bump up the deputy judge to 40,000, and then, I mean, you've got somebody in the current finance officer, and I know he said I know the judge reiterated, he said, well, we can give him extra duties, but he's been against giving people extra duties.
I understand.
So, you know, I don't know what to do on that, because that was originally, because the previous finance officer was doing all the other stuff on top of it, which you didn't like that they were doing, and so you only gave her the position of finance officer. That's why that rate was set at the 35.6.
So did you say we're willing to go to 40,000 on the deputy judge?
I mean, I'm fine with that, if the court is.
Yeah, I'm fine with
I don't
it.
have a problem with that either.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
And also 40 on finance officer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, our deputy judge right now is in that position. We are one of the lowest budgeted amounts in the state of Kentucky for counties our size with our population.
But these other counties don't have an HR director either, that we're paying $55,000 a year to do all the HR activities, which normally would fall under a deputy judge.
And I think when we created that, did we call that HR and Director of Operations?
Mhm.
What operation?
Whatever you wanted to have her do. I mean, I think it was a pretty broad scope when we created it. Of course, that was right after Judge Pace passed away. We created that, but
So what is her title?
it was HR and Operations, wasn't it?
HR Director of Operations,
Yeah.
yes. I
So
mean,
she's got a similar portfolio
So
than what a lot of deputy judges would have.
So if before the deputy judge was fulfilling that position and doing HR at 55, how do you justify creating an HR and keep the salary the same if they're doing less work?
They're not, because when Judge Pace passed away, that realized to myself, when I was sitting in that seat, when you have the changing of guard and you have somebody HR and it was always under the deputy judge executive, there was never no continuity, because the judge executive always changes.
Right, I understand all
you
that.
could be here for 12 years, but regardless, there's going to be a change. So at that time, to move them into that position is to get away from the deputy judge doing all those works. And then,
Well-
so really, the deputy judge is more of a administrative assistant for your office.
Yeah, but that's not what I think
I
he's
wish
saying.
that
What
was true.
I don't mean to say, can I?
Go ahead.
mention something? What he was saying is that before, and I'm understanding what he's saying, that she was doing two jobs. She was doing HR and she was doing judge exec. But when you split them out, she was still being paid the same for just doing the HR and not doing the judge exec, or the deputy and the thing. And he was asking the question, why did we keep it the same at 55? When she just went from half, that's the question he was asking, I think.
But she was doing other stuff on top of that. It wasn't just the HR. I mean, she was readdressing the administrative code. She was,
IT.
doing, she was always doing the
IT stuff.
The IT stuff as far as getting the PowerPoints and everything ready for the meetings, which judges discontinued. I mean, there was other stuff, so you can't just say it was just the HR. And then you got payroll that got put on,
Also.
got put on top of her as well, because that used to be done through, the finance judge's office, if I'm not correct on that. Because she had to get involved with all the timesheets and, all of that, so there's more than just the HR portion of it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a big chunk of the job.
It is, yeah. I can see that.
Had the most headache of it anyway.
Well, I mean, we can try it, each one of those at 40, and if you have a hard time, 2-3 months from now, 6 months from now, finding a quality person, then again, we can always revisit. Heck, I mean, this budget can be amended, as we all know. So,
Whatever.
Now, on the administrative stuff, you all took that down from 44 to 30?
I had one staff member. Used to be two. There was a lot of change in there. So I think the 30 will come next year. So there's additional staff.
Equipment's the same, county attorney, that's statutory assistants.
I didn't get a new one. For the assistants, so I don't know if the county attorney is gonna change of that or not.
the county attorney reimbursement per audit, I guess, was there no audit this past year? Is that why that hasn't?
That was that amount that they found in the county attorney audit a few years ago, that they had paid their fees.
Oh, that's right. I
And he's
that's
got-
right.
Either one is I'm supposed to be, and this has been divided by 5 years, so
I
it's
got
not
you.
paid it yet.
Understood.
Paid for this year yet.
Understood.
We paid it last year for the first time, didn't we?
Yes,
And I think it's 5 payments.
yes. 5 payments. So it's just not been paid yet this year.
Time.
Like I said, in this for the county clerk's office, we don't pay much. For the county clerk's office, we pay we do the retirement and then they reimburse. We're statutorily, how are we supposed to pay for how are we supposed to pay for the audit? We pay for the tax bill preparation. So those are the 4 things that are on the, other 4 things that are with the county clerk's office. And they reimburse. And the retirement amount.
The next one on, there may not be anything we can control, with the retirement, the 2020 number down in the middle of the page. It's
There's 2 of them.
I think that retirement's pretty close.
pretty fixed, the 190. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now-
okay,
now
the
the-
clerk's,
Yeah.
yeah, that was, that's based with, the salaries, that were approved for the calendar year budget.
Now, Now, in the 220 account, I think that we've overshot that in expenses. I mean, the new amount was 600,000.
Oh, for,
But I know you were doing that just based
For
off
the
the
sheriff's
order,
office.
which includes everything. I mean, I think you could bring that down to 475. That's
yeah,
my
I
personal
took
opinion.
the full salaries and I did them by the hazardous, and they're not all hazardous. So that could come down.
to 475. So I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I think it.
You good with that, 475, Alicia?
Yeah.
All right.
And the other one's gonna stay the same.
Right.
Yeah, it's fixed.
That stays.
50-10 will stay the same.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I think that's right on target. Magistrate Blayton. Legal ads, I mean, insurance proceeds.
Why is the sheriff audit so grossly overstated in the budget compared to the expenditure? Is it a cost that we haven't incurred yet?
We have not paid for,
Okay,
I have a tax audit yet.
gotcha.
It's on the bills list.
But we should be at that 15 as opposed to 30.
Right.
For the
They
next
were
year.
able to, do the smaller audit, because, the sheriff, they, I didn't know how to do the comments or anything. After their audit, they're able to do the smaller audit, and, that's, that's, that's a less, that's a less of a cost as well, and with the audit is fine, so.
The clerk's the same,
Same
Go
thing.
just haven't
It's
paid
called
it
an
at.
AUP.
Gotcha.
I'm actually having mine right now.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Every 4 years, you have to have a full-blown audit, but if you get a good audit, then you can have an AUP for the next 3 or 4 years.
yes, 3.
So last year, I had to have it was my 4 years, so I had to have a full-blown one. That's why mine's down this year also.
Okay.
Go share.
Sir.
Last year we had to pay a full audit because Charlene retired, we got a new lead.
That's right.
Yeah, anytime there's a
I
change,
forgot about
you
that,
have to
yeah.
have the full-blown.
That's why you had to have one too.
That's why we had to have one as well.
Short audit.
So now they're back because I didn't have any comments on their audits. Like, no one else is excited, Michelle.
I'm excited. Merle's excited.
I'm excited that you're excited.
Yes.
We are proud of our offices.
All right.
See, we get in the 50/20s, that is. Actually, that's on the coroner's office.
15,000 with salary to 27,000.
Yeah, that went up. His salary was a lot. That was a big jump. He had been paid everything.
Did anybody have any questions or
Okay. This is
anything from the expenses before you got to the coroner?
I didn't.
So the judges, at the county attorney's office, I've been the sheriff. We did a coroner, salary, is already approved, and then you all passed a ordinance, I believe, that, they get, the CPI increase, so that.
In the administrative code?
Yeah, so then, the deputies, you all approved, the new salaries, for them, a couple of, I don't know, weeks ago, the quarter's expenses is statutory amount, and then you start to get into the, true expenses of the coroner's office.
The only question that I had, or the only thing that I had with the coroner's office, which was a new line item that was added this time, because he purchased some coroner equipment, is, and of course, I was just looking at ways to bring the expenses down. You know, I had plugged in is split the difference, since that was a new line item, instead of the 5,000 to 2,500. Is just a thought. And then on the coroner uniforms, that was a new one, he had 2,000 and put that at 1,000. And then
I just don't know that they've, I don't know if they've bought anything. I think, because in, the current year budget, we approved, or, the court approved, for, and the creation for these, out of line items, and so that was the reason of the $2,000, but I don't think that he's purchased anything. So they may fall into.
So maybe,
fiscal year.
maybe we take equipment. He bought a gurney.
No, I've got 5,000 is expended. Oh, I extrapolated that out, sorry. I forget I extrapolated.
I know he bought a gurney. He had to buy
Yeah,
a new
He bought the
gurney.
gurney for two.
Purchases, it's,
See, you think maybe for this year, set the equipment at like 3,000 and the uniforms at 1,000?
I had 25, but I can go 3,000.
Okay, we'll do 3,000.
I mean, we can see, we can always go back and adjust.
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
looking at as I was going down the budget, some ways to just trim it up a little bit to
Yeah,
revenue.
so set the equipment at 3 and the uniforms at 1.
And then I left the registration and travel at 1,000, which there was a 750 $750, but I was just looking at it as a whole.
$1,000, yeah.
yeah, I think there are more people to do
There
the
is.
trainings, because there are now 3.
Yeah, set it at 1,500 then.
Which one was that?
Do what?
1,500.
Travel and
Travel
training.
and training at 1,500.
Who's this answering service through? Is it an outside group?
Yes. Answer one,
Answer one.
yes. That's the name of the company. And before the calls.
The magistrate, I don't know if I might be jumping ahead to, the magistrate expenses, is that the incentive training we do? Is that paid out of that line item?
$300 expense.
Oh, okay, that we,
That is the monthly expense.
okay.
Expense allowance or whatever.
And then the incentive
For being on
is 28.
Committees.
committees.
Okay.
Technically, for this budget year, you could bring that down, because there's no way that,
So what I
because
did
3 do
is-
not meet me and Davis, and Robert, are the only ones that meet the.
We're the only ones that get the back.
Right, but I
qualify for
already,
max.
I did it at what all that you all would get, if it was all of you all. If you were all
Yeah,
on
you- at the
one
max.
For the whole year.
What he's saying though is with,
No, but I did, at the level 1, at that for, at the 3 of the new magistrates, and then the 3 of you all, I did the full amount.
Well, 41.6 is for the, is for the
It's a
40,
little bit over that.
40, well, do you know what it is right off the top?
I don't, sorry.
Even if it,
I mean,
even,
take it down, take it, do, just a little bit, but that's a statutory, that you all.
well, I know it's
pay. That
statutory, but
would-
I just know if we're not gonna spend it, then if we're trying to find ways to trim it up, we
Sure,
can
yeah, I mean, you can
trim it up.
maybe
I know,
go for 20, I mean,
One thought process though too is that we were told in magistrate training that if we get 80 hours in the first year, you're going to not, because through a series of events, you're still on January 1st going to receive that second, which would still be that fiscal year, so it could be a maximum of
you get 2 in 1 year.
it's only,
2 in 1 year, you can.
One fiscal year,
Mm-hmm.
because they're, out there by
you-
the calendar year.
Yeah,
So
You're
they
right.
get a whole
You're right on
because I'm
that.
I'm on target for
can,
that.
but
you can, but
Because
it's
that's
very
the-
hard, but you
I mean,
can't.
I agree with you. It's a little high though,
Yeah,
because
yeah, it's definitely high, but I just want you to take that into
But you're
consideration.
all right, though.
Because I'm on track for that, so I'm working for
Yeah,
that.
so there's the potential
Get
that
80
there are
hours,
gonna be 2 in
But,
1
but
year.
if you're towards the end of that fiscal year, they're not gonna send that letter out until after the next fiscal year, because they always hold that letter out. If you qualify on June the 1st, they're probably not gonna send that letter out till July sometime, so you won't get it. And
It's
they,
calendar, they do calendar.
She doesn't
I
years.
know,
put it
but
on
still,
payroll.
but they're not gonna send that out just because they know the court's budget.
I agree,
Because I've talked to them about that.
Because
before.
I know usually there's a
That's right,
lag,
Robert.
like my last couple letters have dropped in late January. because I already had my hours in. But then by the time you get it, process it, the court votes on it, usually doesn't go on until like March payroll.
Right.
So there's about a month and a half to 2 month lag in the
Right.
payment. So
There could be two.
it could be.
Two in
I
one
mean,
fiscal year.
I
The
think,
way that you all get your trainings.
I think you could probably drop it below 28. I mean, you could probably go to
Go to 20,
20 even.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
do that. Let's
let's,
do that.
And then if you need to move it, I think you can move it.
Yep.
yeah, that's probably more
Transfer.
realistic.
I mean, that's just a.
20, yeah, 20,000.
I gotta find where that's at here. 20, okay.
The next one I wanted to explain.
And that magistrate expenses for training and that kind of
Publishing,
stuff, right?
that is the next one, and we still have to publish, oh, yeah, I'm gonna publish, other budget documents, and that is why I'm publishing,
Yeah.
that's why, that's why that's as low as it is.
That law changed last year, didn't it?
Yep.
That law changed last year, didn't it?
Only when you approve it, yeah.
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 You've got 30 days from the date that you approve it, right? The
I
second
don't know
reading,
what y'all said, I'm sorry.
the advertising of ordinances and budgets, we only have to advertise now until it's actually approved.
I know, not for the budget.
The budget
That is
is
the one-
after the first
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, budget's still first reading.
Advertise.
Yeah.
After the second reading, after I will publish, I'm gonna put the entire budget in there.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason.
What's seminars and travel?
Yeah, we're getting to that.
Now, the seminars and travel, I mean,
It's when you all go to trainings. So it's on registration, it's on
What did we
travel.
spend last year
it's
with
if y'all
everybody?
Stay anywhere. And I know that those are kind of opening
I
up.
don't have the expenses from last year.
Well, that's,
Well, those are kind of weird because those were a lot of virtuals. And they're not as virtual anymore. So.
I think all of them, well, I mean, we still have an opportunity for a lot of
Right.
virtuals.
So people can go virtual, but they can also go there. So we got travel in there.
I know there's 2 or 3 of us that are doing all virtual just for the sake of time because of work and everything. So, I mean, maybe you think we could take it down to,
What have we done through April this year? Let me look.
And with being virtual last year, I'm sure that it would be something similar.
I'm just looking through this year. What is that account number? 5025. I mean, we've allowed only 5,323 this fiscal year. And so if you extrapolate that out, you're looking at 7,000.
set it at
Is that right?
7,500?
Sure.
Okay.
We're trying to squeeze every penny we can.
Hey, 2,000 here, 10,000 there, before you know it, you're talking about real money, right? So. All right, GIS, PVA.
What was the
Water-
water bill?
water-
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I
let's
was
Yeah,
getting
what was the
ready to
water
say.
bill thing? That's something new.
I wish that the fire chief, that he was here. It used to be in the fire budget, it is not a fire bill.
Oh,
It is for
okay.
county water hydrants,
Okay,
so.
I got you.
We took it on, so it's a new budget item. But I love previously, I was, a part of the fire
Yeah.
department's budget.
Was fire
But
department.
they can't anticipate it because
Maybe we could,
I wasn't there.
could 9 be a little high? Maybe we take it down
It's
to
a
8?
it's it's $700 and something dollars a month.
Yeah, it's a monthly, it's a set bill. It doesn't fluctuate.
Say about $750 a month. Yeah, so you're at about 9,000. You nailed it. So,
It's a set amount.
all right. So
That's the reason I got my MBA, Chris.
there you go. Congratulations, too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, GIS PVA. Is that just where we haven't been? We're only at about 53,000 and change so far.
We would probably take that down. I know that was, we have a requirement that we pay 80%, subtract out the, other rental, for,
Oh, yeah.
for the space. Or is it, 33% or something? It's, we pay and WMU pays and.
The city.
Pays. So I think it's 33% and then we subtract out ours. We'll subtract out payment of the rental,
I
for
think-
the room downstairs. You didn't take it down. This is a per month and it's.
Yeah, I mean, 60, I mean, based off the April financials, I mean, 65 would be what it would be now, so I mean, you could
We'll set it at
take a
75.
70.
So it says
75.
Let's do 75 on it. It might be a little high, but hey.
Yeah, you can always,
Move it around.
how do you transfer? That is the statutory amount.
For the PVA.
With the PPA, and that is by a letter
Yep.
from, the Department of Revenue.
Okay. Do we need to up that board of supervisors salary?
I think it's only the two people for the 150.
No, it's 3 people.
Okay.
Actually, it's 4, but I don't take the pay on that one.
3 people.
So-
But that's set by
$100.
statutory, it's $100 a piece. But I
Okay.
think you all get reimbursed half of it back.
Yes,
So actually, you're at 150, but it's up to you all to get the money back, you know.
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to make sure we had enough budgeted for
That's
it.
it, that's it, it's $100 per day, and we, knock on wood, we've never had more than 1 day.
Good deal. Assistant
Check,
treasurer.
I think that's why that comes, and that's what's still over.
I guess that payroll contract, that 3180 line, that's pretty keeping with what
That.
ADP is
will
gonna be.
contract price.
Okay,
That's the new
gotcha.
contract.
The
That's the new
ADP,
contract.
I just was gonna confirm it.
Yep.
I figured that, I figured as much given the amount of the bump that it was ADP's new, or the rate we agreed to, so. Computer supplies,
That is, for, my software, for the financial software and for the software for, for the tax. Out of taxes, and I believe that my software did not get paid from the correct, out of the correct spot, because it should have been in there, and it was after $1,200. So, well, you could probably bring that down to 3, but I don't know that you want to bring it any lower than that.
let's
What's
bring it,
that one?
computer supplies, it's 4130 line,
50/40,
bring it down to 3,000 even.
but that's,
Treasurer's
two
bonds.
softwares,
What's the account number?
50/40.
50, 40, 40,
130,
4130.
4130?
4130.
Supplies.
Okay, computer, and you brought that to 3.
For the bond, my bond is a 3-year, 4-year bond, I don't know which one it is. I'm gonna pay that, I would pay that for the new treasurer. So that is why there is not an amount in there, but it will, after we budgeted it again. And that will be a one-time for, I believe, 3 years.
On the going back just up here, on the assistant treasurer / director, what was the amount that we're at? And then I know that we got the cost or the increase, was that under or was that overestimated on that, just what it was previously?
It's a little bit, I think it's right at 50, and then you get the 1%, I mean, it's, we make it all 51, I mean, it's not, I think it's not, I was up to overinflated.
Take it down to maybe 52.
Or 53?
Yeah, 53. Big 53.
Think what that would be.
Yeah, but it all add up in the end.
That's right. 53.
Training certification. No, hold on.
That is.
Yeah, it zeroed out, yeah.
Well, because I never tracked it, I've my training, but, it has been approved in the past, that the treasurer, I would get the same training as, I would magistrates, I just didn't track them. But a new treasurer, they would want to track them.
And also too, I had spoke with, because the next one is that payroll contract, and I know we had a little increase on that, but also with that format, I mean, Janet had informed the court back when we'd originally done this, when it gets implemented and everything's in full swing, that's gonna end up saving her a lot of time to where she could pick up other things, and I know she's mentioned that, you know, she'd be happy to do website or anything that we want her to do. Once that's implemented, she's got the payroll down. They're making a few more tweaks on the fire department, the way that works. But now she started the implementation of the benefits. And then once that portion's done, then that is gonna free up quite a bit of
More
time
time, yeah.
for her as well, yeah. Just letting everybody know, so. Treasurer's bond.
What's included in that contract services for the courthouse?
That includes, the postage machine, the copiers, the security, services, the spraying, after the pest control. It's, I think that, I don't pay it, I think that I don't pay every month.
Got it.
That's the same contract price. I think that's all that's in there. And I think that, I don't know why it's as important as it is, but I think it was all the new, the security that Judge Branham had put into the judge's office. So the panic buttons and the camera outside the door.
Which one, where were we in that there, sorry? What was the last one y'all just talked about?
Contract services,
Do you think that 10 is where it needs to be? 10,000?
I mean,
Let me ask you a question.
sure.
This past year, was that included janitorial services, since that's a new line item on the next page, it's been pulled out?
No,
Okay. Because we didn't have any for janitorial services this year.
right, because that's a new line item.
But my question was that included in this year's number? What would we pay them out of if it wasn't contract services, janitorial, or general?
Because that is a new one that the judge, had talked about.
I'm just trying to figure out what we paid them out previously.
We did not have the service.
Okay, all right.
There you go, I was gonna say, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, we had the floor cleaners that came in.
Right, that was in the courthouse.
As long as we know where they come out of, it's fine with me. I just wanna make sure we got them covered and didn't delete them entirely.
Right, no,
Okay.
What did we pay for that? What did we pay? What were the contract? What was the contracted services?
for the copier, for the postage.
Security, insect
pest
spraying.
Pest control.
Pest control.
and things, I don't pay every month.
I just wanna make sure we let the loose one up, okay.
That's
On the bottom of that page, Director of Human Resources, that, what's for the new budget amount, is that about what we've set the pay at? Is that what her pay is at this time, or is that a little higher?
High.
Oh, what's that
I think
position
it's
at
high. Well, I
now?
was looking here to see what we.
I was gonna say, I didn't think she was making that, but
I thought it was closer to 60.
I think it is. I think we could trim that a little bit.
Director of Finance, let's see, it should be on this page. Claims allowed was 53.
Should have been 2% as well, because I'm good here.
Okay, 53 divided by 10 times 12 is 63 times,
This is it, sir.
1.02.
that'll be 3% because she'll get the one in January, and then if she, now she'd get two, right? Is that right? Yeah. So 63, so what does it set at?
So when does that come into effect?
70 for this year, the new budget amount is 70.
I think you could drop that to 65, be comfortable. I think that's even a little higher, 63. 65 I think should cover it, don't you?
63 last year, or 69, yeah, sorry.
So
For the
65,
budget, 65?
yep.
Tax refunds, you saying? Election officers. And election officers, we'll have election this one,
That's why we're still.
and we're only gonna have one because next year there are.
No, next year's presidential election.
Oh, that is, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you
It's
gotta,
only the
the
following
following
year,
year.
that's right, there's never election.
following year's a
presidential.
dead year.
Yes,
I got a year ahead of
So you'll have primary and general next year.
I'm tired
Yes.
of
Yep. So you'll still have the two.
them. Okay.
All right. Well, the first question I had on this page, and somebody may have one before that, we can go back, is 3990 for planning and zoning. We had budgeted 60,000. Expenditure so far has been 31. I don't know if we may owe something coming up, I don't
The
know.
additional 30 is for the comp plan, which I'm sure they have builders
Yeah.
for, which is a one-time deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we either pay it this year or pay it next year.
We've not gotten a deal for, the comp plan, that's why I did not move it
That's the
down.
difference.
I didn't know.
So,
You could still move it to 50 because we were paying half of that.
No, we pay them 30, what they've been getting. The additional 30 was for the comp plan.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is we had allocated 30, but, we said that we if we needed to go more, we could, but that is split between us and the city, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was, the whole thing was 60, and we split half of it, the 30 in the budget.
Was that what the bid was?
I believe so.
so we need to keep that at
You
60.
can pay them
then?
this year or pay them next year. If we pay it before the end of the year, you can take it out. I don't know how far along they are.
Does anybody?
That's a dollar question.
I'm out of that.
So we need to leave that then, basically.
Yeah,
And then if we pay them, we can change it, I
sounds
guess.
like it.
So we leaving it at 60?
I don't think they'll be through by the end of June myself.
And then the next one, economic development, we did 123, 440. It looks like here it's going up about 9, almost 10,000.
And that's really not the right category for that, because it's really not an IDA, that's really that shared expense line item. And economic development, that's really that shared expense agreement.
5070 line item.
Out for the chamber and
Yeah,
for.
is that shared
That's what that is?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's been called.
I know, but it's
I've
always,
changed the name if you want me to,
it's always
but-
been called something wrong, so I mean,
Oh.
but since it's been a
Of
topic.
course, I just wanted to point it out.
Let's call it what it is, since we've been talking about it anyway, it's that shared agreement.
Somebody has something.
Now, the next one-
They named it in the past.
Now, our next group, I've got questions, I don't know where we're
So we're
going.
leaving
with
it at
this.
the
So we leaving that where it is, or is that?
Yeah, that's what, that's the
It is
agreement.
what it is.
That's the
We're-
agreement, that's what the agreement is.
Okay.
That is off of their budget.
There's
What's
the,
Now,
questions?
the next block, which is the janitor salaries, I mean, we're making, I'm
We've changed
kinda
all the
confused on what we're doing.
categories.
We've decreased the courthouse janitor salaries, the annex janitor salaries, and then added a courthouse maintenance supervisor, then.
Services.
Then added contracted services for both the annex and the courthouse.
Okay, so from the conversations of the judge and I, we had, Carl, I was not a janitor. He was, I hired for course maintenance. So I would work it out on the janitors. And then, so that would be if there was a janitor, that would be for the courthouse. So that is just for a person, for the courthouse, for the janitor. The annex, that was just, we were along making them, I'll make them both, I will make them the same. We made a line item that is specifically, that's for the crest maintenance, for Carl, that is, I'm working at the moment. And then if we do not find, if we don't find the janitor, if we don't find that for, out of the courthouse, then, we can hire it out for, out of the service, for them to come in.
So my question, so basically, if you can find a janitor for both here and the EOC, or the AOC,
Well, I've got
annex.
one for over there,
So we've got that one.
yes.
So then we don't need the extra annex janitorial services then.
Well, it looks
I'm
to
gonna
me
wait to
like
take that one, Judge.
it's gonna cost us twice what we're paying this year. If you do all the,
We got $96,000 in there where we had
I mean,
65.
somebody needs to make the numbers add up for me.
What's your plan there, Judge?
Cut whatever you want. Right now, we cannot hire a janitor. The offices in this building, the offices in the annex are not getting the proper care. There's offices in this building on the third floor that probably hasn't been vacuumed since they laid the carpet 4 or 5 years ago. What we've been trying to do is trying to hire people. We cannot hire people at $9 an hour. And I have been looking at janitorial services. They're very expensive to come in and do possibly a deep cleaning of the restrooms, a deep cleaning of the floors. The two that we have right now, they're doing the best they can, but they're just two people. And since I have been here, we've been advertising some help. We can't get it. What Alicia was referring to is Carl is actually doing more than a janitor. He's actually more of a maintenance person. list is long of all the things that he's involved in. We've had a severe problem. Most of the drains in this building don't work. That's why the PVA, the GIS all flooded at one time because there was so much water coming in. Carl has been concentrating on that for a while at my direction. We've had plumbers come in, we've snaked them out, we've tried everything. I would say right now we're probably 70% clean. Those are the kind of things that Carl has really been on, plus doing all the janitor work. So ideally, I know at one time, between the courthouse and the annex, there was 4 janitors at one time.
And I know the court system wasn't happy about the way things were
The
going.
court
too.
system is not happy
Very,
right
very
now
happy,
either.
because I spoke to some of them.
So,
When I was the custodian here, it was 2 per building.
so since we can't hire staff, the only other option is to hire it out. So that's where all this is, the line items are in there just in case, depending on which way we have to go.
But we're down to basically 1 in each building. We only have 1 in each building, we usually have 2 in each building.
Right.
But the alternative to that is to keep the 1 and do a janitorial service.
Well, and
Go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
well, the problem we have too is because of Carl's background, he is the only one that AOC will allow in their offices, in the courtrooms. He's the only one. We can't even put a cleaning service in there. So that handicaps a little bit, but Magistrate Blanton is right. The AOC is very unhappy. If you go to the 3rd floor, their carpet up there is basically nasty. So the solution is we either hire somebody. The problem is we can't hire anybody at $9 an hour.
So here's my question to you. The courthouse maintenance, I have no issues with that at all, the supervisor, which I guess would be Carl. But my question, since we can't hire any of the other janitorials, wouldn't it be better for us to allocate that whole amount for a full-time cleaning service, which will end up being, I know it's expensive, but by the time you add in the retirement, the 24% on the retirement and the health, medical and everything, it's still gonna be cheaper for us in the long run.
So are you saying that we shouldn't try to hire staff, that we should go with a cleaning service? Because we will have to have a cleaning service in both buildings, the annex and here. Or get one to do both of them.
Because we only have one right now, which is Carl, correct?
1 over there.
We do currently have one over there. So,
Tommy.
Okay, Tommy's over there, okay. So you got, I mean, how much is a cleaning service? You checked on it, what's the cost of it?
Well, it just depends on how much cleaning we want to do.
And if something comes up during the day, you need something cleaned up in the day, and they're not here, what do you do?
Well,
I
and
don't
there's
know.
also
That's-
other restrictions too. For example, Carl goes into Michelle's office and cleans in there, but there's kind of a little bit of a schedule thing there because
Right, because I have to stay there.
she has
So
to
I'm not
stay
gonna
in.
give the key to anybody in my office.
Right, I understand.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
he
cleaning
does
crew
it.
or anyone,
I
so.
understand that.
So he does it after she locks the door, so to speak, her customers are all gone. So we've got, all that. I mean, I think if we could hire, and who knows, I mean, 2 could walk in tomorrow, we could possibly hire them. I don't think it's gonna happen. But then with we got almost the same problem with the cleaning service. There is scheduling.
Well, what about this, Judge, just for the sake of, I guess, maybe simplicity, maybe it didn't. We add to courthouse janitor salaries and annex janitor salaries. And I guess is Carl, currently he's paid out of one of those line items, I'm assuming, right? Both are paid out of those line items.
7-0.
I forgot the courthouse.
1750 and, okay. And then maybe we take, and we can leave these line items in existence, but we take out of courthouse maintenance supervisor, janitorial service, and annex janitorial service, and we take at least some of that and add to those first two line items. That way you can beef up what you offer people.
Then if we're gonna do that, we probably need those for the janitorial services, probably need to bump those way up. If we're not going to hire any more staff and try to go with the services.
What, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you need to hire, let's say, an additional janitor, then maybe have him or her go between the buildings, if that's an option. And you could pay that person out of either or both of those courthouse janitor salaries and annex janitor salaries. I mean, and I don't know if, maybe it's important to have a maintenance supervisor. I'm just thinking, you got 30,000 allocated there and 16,000 allocated. You almost got 50 grand allocated between those three. And you keep those line items, in other words, so if you got to where you couldn't find anybody, Judge, or you couldn't hire somebody, or you hired them and they didn't stay, we still have those line items and we could transfer in to those.
Janitorial
To the
service?
janitorial service if you needed to have somebody. In other words, the line item would still be there.
So keep the courthouse maintenance supervisor, and then maybe add 5,000 to each of the janitorial salaries.
30.
Do 30, and then if he can't hire anybody in those range, then we could move that to create the janitorial.
Or add
service.
10,000 to each one. Make them both 35,000. So you'd have courthouse janitor salary at 35, annex janitor salary at 35. And then we'd zero out these others until it looks like we think we're gonna need it. You know, the line items would still be there. You know, we could transfer in and out, you know. But what I'm saying is you'd have more leverage to either hire a third person or do salary bumps, you know, to keep somebody, or, you know, we'd have another $20,000 in flexibility between the two line items. Just a thought.
But
I'm
I
not clear.
think Carl wants to be the maintenance supervisor, is that correct?
Well, we have two, if Carl had not been doing all the things he's been doing, we would have had to hire that out to outside contractors.
Well,
So
that's
the
fine.
other option.
Well, then you keep that line item
The
in.
ideal situation would be if we had another janitor in this building and possibly maybe one that could flow between the two.
Can we just, go ahead, I'm sorry.
We just, this building is being very, very neglected inside. I think most of the department in these big buildings, especially AOC, will attest to it. It's been a lot of neglect.
Well, maybe we add, so courthouse janitor salary, instead of 35, we make it 30. We add 5 to that. We add 5 to annex janitor salary, make that 30. We leave the courthouse maintenance supervisor at 30. And then, we just zero out janitorial services and annex janitorial service. We leave the line items, just leave them at 0 for now.
That's fine.
And then if we have to use them, we transfer money into it.
Can we just call them contractual services? Does that make them easier to do? You can contract with them.
So I'm not clear what the maintenance supervisor's job, is he the handyman, basically, or?
Well,
Does the
Carl-
lawn, he fixes, I don't know, I thought he fixes everything, he is the go-to for, when we call in, I would call in the contractors, Carl is the.
But he does hands-on work as well. He does hands-on work as well,
Yes.
repairs.
Yes.
The supervisor, I think, kind of throws me, this sounds like a
That's
management
what he's
position.
hired as,
I see.
or whenever they moved him from, after the janitor, I like to, the supervisor. He's in charge of the other janitors as well. There's only one, but.
Maybe technician might be a better name.
That's what it was.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, there you go,
Carl, the jack of all trades.
there you go.
I see him back there.
Oh, I didn't know.
I just think of a supervisor,
His
think,
ears are
sitting
burning.
back and saying, you do this, you do that, you know.
I mean, if he, I like,
No, No, he's very
If that were
hands-on.
staff, then I'm
That's
sure he
fine.
would.
That's kind of what
I
I
couldn't
thought,
do
but
without him.
I think the
Doesn't have
titles
any
just
staff,
kind of
they
threw
don't
me.
need to tell him to do anything, so.
Yeah.
So that, is that what y'all said? So 30, 30, and 30?
Yeah, and then zero out to,
Creating the other ones.
And then if we need to transfer, if we can't hire anybody,
Yeah.
you can move that whole 30 over to,
zero out the
to
janitorial
contracted
services
services.
on 329O and 329A. Okay.
I would say contracting is going to be our better way to go in the long run.
Maybe.
Expensive.
Maybe. Well, we got the line items there if we need them, so.
I don't think 8,000 would be enough, and I think, yeah, contract might be the way to go.
it's worth it, Judge, I think it's worth getting a bid on it.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and look into it.
And we have,
Oh, you do have the bid?
I just haven't had a chance to go.
So you don't have it, I didn't want to.
It depends on how much cleaning.
What you want them to do, how often and how much.
Judge, could you pull
For
your
example, just to do one
microphone?
deep cleaning, as they refer to it, on just the restrooms in this building is about $600 for that one. To do the restrooms only in this building, now we're not talking about the third floor or the second floor, no personal judge offices. $500, $700 and some dollars a week to clean the restrooms 3 times. 3 times a week, about $700.
Judge, could you pull your microphone over? Your microphone? Thank you. Thank
There
you.
we go. Can't hear.
I'm deaf.
I didn't have anything else on that page, with somebody else.
I was just curious about 5080, 571B. We budgeted 35, we're only at 689. We're budgeting another 35.
That is at the receipt line item for the court facilities, for the 35,000. We can spend it, for additional costs. For the courthouse. So it's whatever you want to
What-
choose, that you want to spend.
What was that line item, Robert?
571.
571B,
Yeah.
571B.
court facility maintenance.
There's a receipt line item,
I mean, can we bring that down to 15?
but there's a receipt line item that's
Oh,
exactly
oh, oh.
35,000.
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh,
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a wash, but y'all just, you
Yeah.
just gotta choose.
So long as they're the same, it's a wash, it don't make any
Yes.
difference.
Yeah.
That's fine. I thought it was that case, but I wanted to make sure.
You're correct.
One thing I'd like to bring to your attention, though, I don't know if you've noticed or not, and I think this is going to come down on us. There is no smoke alarm system in this building, on no floor. And I've heard some comments being made, maybe some of the new judges, et cetera.
Fire doors are propped open too, so fire doors are supposed to remain closed.
But everybody's kind of shocked that there is no fire alarms in this building.
Even in the clerk's office? You got a sprinkler system or something, don't you, right?
No, we're grandfathered,
No.
we're grandfathered in because of
No.
the age of the
I
building.
think the mechanical room
shoot.
might be the only one. I think there's something in there. I remember seeing something in there, so I could be wrong. The mechanical room, the
I
basement.
think there's a head, and
When
I
we
think
changed
you're
that
right.
boiler out, I
I
remember
think
we
you're
had to
right. I
cover
think there's a
something
head in
up, and
there.
they were sawing the whole little board.
I think you might be right.
But it could be CO2 because of the gas water heater down there too.
There's something that I think you're right.
Well,
Anyway, just wanted to bring it up to your attention.
what about, what, on courthouse electric, can you look, Daniel, what we spent through last year? It looks like we,
I don't have last year's.
Oh, you don't have last
I don't
year.
have last fiscal year's expenditures. I only asked for the appropriations.
what are we running about average a
Can't really
month
get
on that?
Yeah,
We can
Do
extrapolate.
you have it real
things.
quick?
We'll say if that could come down 1,000 or 2.
got all new LED lights, so it ought to come down some.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you think, that's what they tell us, that's what they tell us.
We spent 60,000 for lights, once you come down, the pay for itself in, what do you say, 6 years? 5 years?
5 or 6 years.
Something like that.
20. Hope not. I forgot about that, that's a,
But this should be our first full
Yeah,
year.
first full year coming up.
yeah.
oh yeah, quite a bit, actually.
First full year coming up.
I'll be curious.
Was she going to get the electric?
And we put in a new rooftop air conditioner.
Yeah, that's true.
And gas should go down because of the boiler.
A little more efficient.
Yeah, we've got that as. Courthouse natural gas.
A lot of it is higher because there was bills in the real that wasn't paid, that's why those numbers are. But, you remember we had all those bills come in. Sorry. How far back they went? Quite a while.
Shall we call and get a pizza?
I just saw it was 8 o'clock. I didn't realize it was already 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I've been here since 7 this morning.
I know, I've been going since 5:30. I know, I'm exhausted too.
What's she say, gonna order a pizza?
She said, why don't y'all order pizza?
Pizza?
Yeah.
Anchovies.
That's what I see. When you order pizza or something, bring home the
There you go. I make a motion that,
The Winchester Sun will treat us.
there you go. Get right on that, Matt.
Only for buying ads. Only for buying ads.
So while we got 2 seconds, what's our thought process on this fire stuff for this place here? I mean, is it something that, what is that? I mean, can you go without it? I know when the fire marshal showed up at my office, he didn't let me go without it.
I mean, are we grandfathered in
Yeah.
because of the age of our building?
Yeah.
They change the fire code so often, I don't know, Daniel.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh, no.
Well, you got the receipt, so I was gonna give you the appropriate.
Which one was that?
Courthouse electric, 5080.
5080 courthouse internet cable, let's see. Annex electric, courthouse electric. 29, we spent 27,000 last year.
That's gone down.
Well, let's put it at 27 then.
Because it can only go down.
Because it should only go down.
Or maybe 26?
Theoretically.
No, I mean 27, I think.
27's fair?
Yeah, we'll have a little buffer.
Okay.
Well, we're already at 26. I mean, are we thinking that, I'm just gonna go down.
I'm not looking at the right thing here.
26.2.
About that much?
Try it.
Try what? Say
It's at
26?
30,
27.
courthouse electric's
I mean,
at
y'all have
30.
to get out of the way, so, I mean, you
Just
can-
leave it there.
Yeah.
Leave it at 30? I'm fine with
I think y'all gotta pay the electric bill out of the way, so.
Either way, you gotta pay it, you're right.
Yeah, that's not like an
I
option.
mean, if you want your employees, if what do we sit here in the dark? I mean,
that. And you
what's
brought
the-
Annex Electric down it, cause it was at 40 last time, so. We transferred from that line item.
Natural gas, that's right.
Courthouse natural gas.
The next one that I had as a question is on the, home incarceration salaries. I know that he's wanting to bring on more people. My thing is, and I was just looking at expenses, increase that only 50,000, that gets him another full-timer. But also, if we can get additional revenue from Madison County, if they're gonna partner up, then we can go in and amend this to increase that based on that additional revenue.
That's the only way you're gonna make 250 work, is you've gotta pull another.
We gotta
county
pull more revenue in from them.
in. Let's set that at 150.
What was the number on that?
It's at 250.
No, that was said on that,
So he's at
1060.
He's at 100 now, so that would give
Yep.
him an additional 50,000. Because he said, if I'm not mistaken, he wanted to hire another additional full-time, so that'd give him that. And then I'm sure he's planning for that.
He wasn't at the time. I have the notes from his budget meeting. It's not wrong. I think it was a little bit more than one person. Me, I'm a 5 employees, so I've been from Tony, I have 2 full-timers, I've got 2 part-timers, so 5 employees altogether.
Now, if they do the rocket docket, though, they're gonna stick a bunch more people out there on bracelets, right?
No, they'll get charged with
Or move them on?
If they do the rocket docket again, they'll move to state to where they're paying customers.
Good, okay.
That's what you want. I mean,
Yeah,
That's what we
exactly.
want.
So what about, so we're okay at 150 on G-Chip Chow salaries? 150,
I'm just explaining. That was the reasoning.
okay.
But hopefully, this deal he mentioned last meeting is gonna potentially generate revenue where we can increase that even more to what he wants. I think that's a good thing.
And said we'd save money too. on the bracelets.
The C-chip monitoring, Alicia, and of course I know the cost of
What
going,
it is, yep.
well, but I mean, it looks like budgeted 125 in the current year's budget, we're at 113.6 almost.
We're at more than that
Yeah, we're
at
gonna-
the moment.
We're gonna,
We're probably gonna
Bust
hit
that.
that 150 mark.
Yeah.
the 150's right at it. What about C-chip ETTS, that next line item? That's 100% increase from the previous budget, from 10 to 20.
I'm sending computers, for his office, that's gonna be downstairs, and for the new people. So that's, computer equipment and, supplies, for that office.
So it needs to stay at 20, or can it come down any?
So do you all can just explain that over? The reasoning that it was like,
I'm fine with that, leaving it.
Okay.
Yeah, so say 18.
The next one that I had a point of interest was the volunteer part-time. You know, we had 50,000, we're on pace to do 39. He bumped it up to 60, but I mean, I think we could take that back to
50.
50,000 and still be fine. Cause he just,
utilized them a lot more, was the reasoning.
but we're at full staff now, so I understand it, but I mean, it's, we've gotta find it somewhere, because if we don't, then we're gonna use ARPA, and then next year, we're in a real pickle. I mean, I hate to do any of it.
You bump it down to 50, we can deal with it, and we didn't spend anything close to that as of the date of this. I know that's not the full fiscal year, but they're still under 30,000 for the, and I think some of those part-timers are not even really gonna, I think gonna be used very much, the ones that,
Well, you're on the fire committee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with 50,000 on
Yeah,
that,
but I'm on the fire committee and I say it's okay too.
yeah. 50,000. The fire incentive pay, I don't know that I talked with chief. It's a wash, okay, it's passed through, okay, gotcha. And then,
I mean, everything
Stays
else in
the
that.
same for the physical.
I didn't see much. Equipment repair, I mean, we've. Maybe could take that down a little bit, but you had something coming up.
Yeah, he had something. Retainer is the new mechanic mechanic rate, is going up from, out of $95, up to $105. So, and that's a per hour charge. So he increased it a little bit. But I have to account for that.
Equipment repair,
That's what I just said.
That's what we just.
oh, that's okay, the mechanic, so that needs to be at 40, they stay at 45. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask, fire department building maintenance, the 4060 line item.
It is a sewer pump for, the septic system. Out the Station 3.
Okay.
Oh, it's Station 3.
Yep, it needs a complete new one.
And here, and I guess training, is that a pass-through too, 5690 near the bottom?
No, that is, I know that is also where, this is all the same.
So
I think they're
5690.
going, doing some more trainings, they have a lot more people, doing a lot more trainings, and that's also where, I'm a fire inspector, the equipment and stuff, it all comes out of that line item also.
What do we, do you have what we spent on that last year?
On what?
Training, 5690, and fire,
They're going to a lot more trainings also.
7,000?
We got a bunch of new hires.
Yeah, 7,000.
you spent, we spent how much, 7,000?
7,000.
They get to go to a lot of trainings.
Are we done with fire?
What's in the exercise, 1650? What is that?
That is, for the CSEP.
Let's
your-
see, Sip.
Oh, CSEP?
Oh, that's past
your
all this,
reader.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, Pastor. Perfect.
not all has to, but
It's
Yeah,
not.
most of it.
Well,
most of it.
the salary,
But you don't have a
1790.
revenue line item for it other than that 650, which is a special CSIP, correct? That's the only special, that's the only revenue, so some of these expenses, in my opinion, you can bring down because you're not gonna hit them.
Well, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let's do it
So
now.
like salaries, at 60,000, that's a decrease from the 75, it's still gonna be, because they're on pace to only do 52,000 this year.
What line item are you in?
The
1790.
1790. So you wanna take that 75,000 down to what?
60, I mean, that.
60,000.
15, but it still gives you plenty of room, because they're on pace to do 52, and that's with the 3% increase based on the thing.
So 60,000? Okay,
Okay with
you
that.
got that, Alicia?
Then that EMA city county, we're only at 1,900 for the year.
It's, if you all eventually, will, pay the, I will keep, I'm the director, because I'm not paying him, I wanna pay him from this. So if you pay, I want a deputy or something like that, it may be paid out of that. It's a payroll line.
But the EMA right now is Steve, which was part of him when he hired on as the fire chief. I know that that's what Payson, Judge Payson worked out with him at that time, but
So can we take it down?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, unless we approve to hire somebody else to do it and we're gonna pay them separate, or you hire a deputy.
Well, he talked about a deputy once before.
Mm-hmm, you did.
That was gonna be part of the deputy, the assistant fire chief, wasn't it?
But just part of his duties, right?
Part of
The
his
deputy
duty as
chief.
the EMA, the assistant fire chief is gonna be the EMA as part of his duties, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, maybe could we take it down to
I
like
don't know.
20,000? Leave it at 20 for now, and always go up.
I don't care.
We haven't hired anybody, so I'd say take it to 20,000.
The need's not there at the moment.
Yeah, 20,000, all right.
Now, the fringe for that, we've got at 32,000. And we've not expended anything. So we can take that down too, can we not?
Zero it out?
Zero it out.
Leave the line item, but zero it out? Okay.
What was it set up to be?
See, I felt like out of FICA for those employees, there used to be 3 employees that were in this department. I've got health insurance, I'm a life insurance.
Is that the tower for CSEP?
Yeah,
At the
I think
moment,
so,
that's
yeah.
only the one employee. And we just, incur the cost. Ours instead of them.
And tower and the generator's right on, but the EMA, city, county, state, I mean, we could lower that to 10,000, we're at 42. And we've only expended 2,200.
That's on which one?
On 3480, 5135, 3480.
Taking that to what?
10.
10,000?
It's still way more than what
Yeah.
we've expended this year extrapolated.
Taking that to what?
10,000.
10?
Okay.
Those county
Decrease
sirens.
the special CSAP because we didn't spend that, you've already done that.
What about, wait a minute, what about below where that office supplies at 4450? It's not much, but could we take that down? From 6,000, looks like we only expended 1,058.89. I mean, take it down to like
3,500.
2,000 or 3,000 maybe?
Once you extrapolated, that was 1,500 for the year. Wasn't it?
A reason.
I'd do 2,000 even on that one.
Why don't you do 3, it gets double what you did, just in case there's any miscellaneous stuff.
That's fine. 3,000 even. County sirens. At 4175.
What's that extrapolate out to, Daniel?
5,500.
Do 6,000.
6,000?
Information, I'm not sure what,
What'd y'all say on that one?
6,000 on sirens.
It's on things that go on a radio, I think is the only thing that's been put in there at the moment.
What do we spend on that one, Daniel? Information, 4510.
We've only spent $233.33 out of it.
Do 1,000 on that one. And I don't know what special CSEP is.
That's that pass-through.
Pass-through.
Yeah, that's the revenue on the other side.
So it needs to just stay at 600? Okay.
Now, the EOC building maintenance, they're on target to do 30,000. We're at 65. I mean, we could drop that to 40.
40.
Still have
Yep.
more than what we're on target. It'd be an extra 10 just for any mishaps.
40,000. Travel,
It all looks,
leave it at that. Or is there any travel? I don't know.
we haven't
What
expended
would be an example of that? Travel?
So training,
training
Or
or
just a training?
you said training.
Set it at 1,000.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't go nowhere for 1,000.
Yeah.
I'd just leave it. I'd leave it.
Leave it, that's not enough to,
Building maintenance,
40.
okay.
Cause we're on target to do 30,000 this year, so that's still an extra 10,000 above what it was.
So to leave the travel, or,
Yeah.
So we're just gonna leave that. Okay.
Utilities, or I mean, those
Wait,
are
wait,
staying.
let's go back. Did we hit EOC lines? 15,000,
That's about right on the money.
right on the money, okay. And utilities,
That's about right on the, I mean, I'd come down a little bit, but I would just probably leave it.
what, utilities? EOC utilities?
It's extrapolating out to about 32,980. Let me see, that was on,
578A.
what was that again, Chris?
578A, EOC utilities.
Oh, we've expended out only 26,000 for 10 months, 26,948 divided by 10 times 12, that'd be 32,000.
Okay, set that one at 32.
Give a little cushion. What are you saying on the, what's it at now?
EOC utilities would be 32,000, right?
Hold on, my computer reset.
You got a Commodore 64 over there or something?
Oh, it's at 45?
yeah.
Why don't you do 35, just give a little
That's
cushion.
fine. It's still a $10,000 cut, so I'll take it. Storage utilities, I don't know what,
All right.
all right.
Maintenance
Maintenance
is about right.
at 25,000?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, it's on target to do 23, so.
Communications, we've got 0 as of this report, but we've still got 16,000 budget. Did we spend anything on that last year? It's line 7130.
Uh, 5,500 is what we spent last year.
Go to 7 maybe?
Do 7,000 for communications. Am I all right with that?
My service is what it is.
State ambulance, I guess I assume that's ambulance.
Wash through.
Wash pass
Yeah.
through. What about, let's talk about 9/11 expenses,
The what?
911 expenses.
Okay, so if I remember, is all of that, I put the agreement up to 450. I think that is of the agreement that we would pay you up to 450.
Okay. But I mean, what did we spend on that last year? What were we actually
We're on
billed?
target to do, or last year we did 382. I think you could decrease it to 400 and be okay, because you're on I mean, you only did 113, but I know that you just had a mount come in.
We're always behind in sending it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 4 or 5 months.
But we've been consistently below that 450 though.
Well, last year we were, and this year, based on the extrapolation, we're probably gonna be below that.
This year, we're at, I'm at 350, 358.
Hold on, 358
Uh-huh.
divided by 10 times 12. That'd be 420. But we probably won't get another bill in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could probably take it to 400 and it would catch what they billed for that year. Wouldn't
Do
you
400.
Yep.
agree? You think so, Robert?
That's probably right, because that last bill.
Always fall on the next
always
fiscal
follow
year.
up.
I guess the public defender program, is that just a wash? The 5,000? Does it look like we've paid anything today?
I don't know what happened in the prior year. It's usually a bill that we get at the beginning of the year, so I'm not for sure what happened. Forest fire protection is the same way, but we're
Okay.
about to pay that one. Oh, those are the ones, forest fire. Forest fire, I was just about to pay that one.
Okay.
So that's why I'm kind of charged it, and I've not gotten a bill for the public defender program.
The only,
It says it's in the shelter.
the only thing I had in the animal shelter is on the animal shelter donated money. I know we've got 30 on the revenue and we've got 30 on the expense side, but you could change it to where it's 10,000 on the expense side, and then any additional revenue that comes in over that 10 would not be spent through that line item. It would just be for other items, basically additional revenue for the items that we're already paying. Just a thought. You follow me, Alicia?
No. Sorry.
Animal shelter donate, you've got revenue.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to put $30,000 in expenses from donated money.
But you can't spend it if it's not
Yeah,
there.
well, that's the thing is we're already spending for all these other things. So if you have donated, it would go towards those others. You could still spend 10,000 of it, which she's only spent 5,000 this year. You follow me? What I'm saying
I
is,
do follow you, except for that she doesn't spend out of that line item. She transfers from that line item. So she pays out the expenses up front until she runs out of budget. And then she uses it as a transfer line item. So the donations are not even, so it's not even that there's an expenditure that she
Well,
sends
so then-
directly for donations. She,
so we shouldn't even have it in there then. If it's a transfer line item to cover other things, it ought to be like a contingent appropriations.
how are you gonna separate the donations off for the shelter and then have to go to the shelter?
Well, I mean, just decrease that amount. What I'm saying is you're saying that you overestimate your revenue by 30,000, and then she transfers from that, meaning it transfers the available amount.
She only transfers, I think, not that she brings in.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, but
Where does she, like, so she brought in 5,000, where did she transfer that to?
She brought in 5, to where?
Oh, we'll extrapolate it out. For the animal shelter donated money, say she brought in $1,000, so it shows in the revenue of $1,000. Then she can spend $1,000 from that donated money. It doesn't get transferred anywhere,
So
does
you're
it?
bringing in, I mean, if you bring in the 30, then she's only able to spend 5. And where does the rest of it go?
Well, it stays in the general fund to help cover the other expenses that we've already paid out using the tax dollars. That's all I'm saying is. It's just a thought, but she's never brought in that, I'm not gonna say never, but based on what has been brought in so far, it's only 5,000
That's for the expenditure side.
for the expenditure side, excuse
Right.
me.
But on the receipt side, she's brought in, I put it like $32,000.
32.
That's pretty good.
It's been a year already, but she still has.
She still had to spend it, which is good. But you see what I'm saying? If we say, well, you can spend 10 of it, if you bring in 30, then that helps alleviate some of the budget restraints that we have. That's just my thoughts. I mean, y'all can do what you want, that's just my opinion.
Well, I think most of the donated money should be for general operating expenditures, because it's unanticipated funds to start with. I mean, when you sign up for Run for the Paws, and you go during the race, and you send your donation, you don't expect it to pay for electric and gas and stuff like that, you know, more like food and some other things.
Well, but we have animal food and supplies and those things that are in there. It was just an idea. We can leave it at the same. I just.
I think you'll have a lot of unhappy donors if you try to use it for general operating expenses myself.
Well, leave it there then. It's just an idea. I don't have anything down until
I guess just solid waste salaries, looks like we've got that going to 100. Is that pretty much what we expect?
That would be for, two, full-timers and then the supervisor. At no point, during the year, I think that we do not have all of those people at the same time, so, and then if there is a pay increase at all, then also covers it. Overtime or anything like that.
And soil conservation, we got that at 45-1, it's line 5070. And it's
that
jumping
went up. That went up to 55.
55-1.
They did ask for a $2,000, but, they have not asked out for one in, he told me how many years. A lot of years.
Three. 20.
I've been there.
20.
I've lived for-
John says 20 back
20 years,
there.
yeah.
John says 20 back there.
I knew there was a reason you were here.
Yeah. Like, he was waiting on that line, they've not, I've had.
Is there some grant money involved in that too, John?
Yes, we leveraged that, I'll use last year's budget numbers.
Please.
We leveraged the 45,100 to bring in 650,000 of federal and state dollars. And then also, 22,500 grant money went straight into the dead animal removal
Yeah.
program.
That's the one I was thinking. I wasn't aware of the other one. I was thinking of the dead animal, yeah.
I think I saw that revenue in the. Did we receive that revenue in 20?
It is in, the dead animal removal grant is in 25. And then the other part
Yeah, we did that. I saw that. Yeah.
So what are we gonna do with that? We're gonna leave it the same, or what?
I guess so.
23 years,
Yep.
for 20 years.
10%.
They're asking for 10,000.
20%, yeah.
And the DAR started at 7,500, and it went to 15, now it's 22,500. So,
Yeah.
they come to the table.
So we give you this 10, and then next year it's 32.5, right?
He said we're working on it.
Next one I had, and I'm assuming this is maybe just a bill we haven't gotten yet, the senior citizen city and county, the line 3560.
I guess that's not good for the other half of the year.
That's what I thought. It was exactly half what we
Yeah.
had budgeted, so we'll
It's
just
just not good for the-
leave that as is probably.
Yeah.
You left soil conservation, that was.
Yeah.
40, was it 50? Oh, okay. I had it typed in wrong.
You want to leave it at 55-1?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants. All right, John, you can go home now.
No, he's gotta stay.
The fire truck pumper, that 602D at the bottom, that actually went up, but is that on a,
So, all of these, out of the 7,700s, I did
Leases.
the debt schedule.
Okay.
So these, they all match.
Okay, gotcha.
That's
what I thought.
To the 100.
yeah, because
So I rounded up.
I saw the lease payment for the fire truck went up.
Yeah.
Lease payment on sheriff vehicles went down.
Yeah.
Breathing apparatus went down
We
1,000.
just bought breathing apparatus this year.
No. That's, been a while ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We moved the breathing apparatus.
It was the
out
tank.
from the fire. I
The
did
tank
not
got
get
struck
those
by
people.
lightning.
Oh, that's right, okay. That's what we bought this year.
Because the breathing apparatus, I think, is tied up with our bell tower and all that.
Maybe, okay.
There's a truck attached to it.
Okay, you're right.
And a loader, and a loader.
I think you're right, yeah, I was thinking, but that was the other.
Yeah, but you're right, but we did address it because the lightning struck the tank.
That's what we did this year, okay. And that
All
wasn't
those
a
are-
lease, that was, we paid for that.
And then that's a full payment on the Parks and Recs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that where we've only just paid half again on Parks and Rec repairs, line 602H.
I was a debt payment.
A debt payment, got you. So that needs to stay 102.9.
What
Okay.
about the audits? We haven't had anything hit yet.
We, the two of them, the fiscal 21 and fiscal 22, are supposed to be done by the time that I leave, up June 30th. So you get those bills, in the new fiscal year. So those are both of 17,000 apiece. So, there you go.
So could it come down to 34,000 or does it need to stay at 40? Oh, there's another.
I'll have other review costs, I'll look for the state auditor's office also, I think it's attached.
So that'll put it right at 40, you think? Okay. Um,
Insurance went up.
Yes, it did.
No wiggle room on that?
No.
Gotcha.
Off the Keiko.
Oh, that's Keiko, gotcha.
We are a risky business. It's kind of what they told me.
What about retirement, 2020?
I
You got any-
based it off of, I did the salaries and, I did the percentage. So if we pay all the salaries, then we pay all the retirement.
I know some of those we've
Yeah. I mean, we
discussed
can do a
cutting,
little bit,
so,
but-
I mean, it'd be a little, I don't know how much
We'll save some Wednesday.
we,
I mean, we've moved a few salaries, I can go back through it, I can
Save
fix it.
some on retirement Wednesday.
I'm missing it.
Look at your agenda.
For Wednesday.
Oh,
Oh,
never mind.
no, that's got nothing, I was like.
He's
I'm not
making,
paying that.
he's making jokes over here. It's too late.
He's the
Trying
jester,
to lighten the atmosphere a little bit.
the jester.
It's 8:43, Robert, we're tired.
I mean, I'm pretty late.
Punch
Just trying
drunk.
to get through it.
We're close.
well, I guess what I'm saying is if we took it down to 1,000,001, would that be too steep of a bump down? I guess, of course, obviously we owe, we can always take it up, we'll
Right.
transfer into it, I'm
Yeah,
just thinking if we,
you've got any bills, if anybody,
well, and I guess my point is, I mean, we talked about some positions that may not even be filled. Or if they're filled, they won't not be filled for long, and then we're back to having vacancies and we budget more for retirement than what we really needed, is my point.
I think go down, I think you can go down to the 1 million, and you'll be okay.
1,000,000 even?
1-1?
Million even?
Yeah, a million even.
Okay, a
On the
1,000,000
line?
even?
I'll give you that.
Thank
She's
you.
got an MBA,
So,
let's
so
go.
that last retirement's going down to $1 million,
Yes,
Correct.
and you feel good with that?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
that's the 2020 line item. Okay, it's coming down, about,
120.
yeah,
I'm gonna
good,
pay for that
excellent,
away, but, I mean, I think it's
good deal.
Take 100 grand, 200 grand.
Health insurance, you think they ought to stay at 1,000,000 even, or are we
I
looking good?
brought down a lot,
Okay,
so.
you did, I could
The
see that.
amount's only like 800 this year, I
Yeah.
think that's a good, and it
I
gives you a
mean,
little
That's good.
so, I
cushion.
mean, like, we're paying every week.
Yeah.
So it fluctuates every week. I'll do like a $20,000 bill for 1 week, and then I'll do, then I'll do like a $7,000 bill next week, so I mean.
Okay.
I will pay the claims.
No, I feel, that looks good to me.
Work comp give you 2 years.
Okay, I get this to the general fund. So,
All right.
before we move on, really fast, do you just want me to fix all of these numbers and bring it back to the meeting on Wednesday? And see where we're at, cause I mean, we obviously didn't make enough of I would, I would change, I mean, I don't think so, it could probably be brought down a lot, to completely eliminate the ARPA funds.
And
But I can see where we're at.
you're, to make it balance, you're at 2.7 in carryover. And that'll balance it with 0 ARPA funds.
Did you include my reapportionment to people?
I don't have an amount for.
Well, it was suggested, just there's other emails that I've read, that they get paid the same amount as the Board of Appeals get paid. But that's entirely up to you all, you all want to be setting their salary.
So how many people?
There's gonna be three.
Three.
How many days?
That's just it. I don't know how many days they'll want, yeah, that's all on them. If I have my way, it'd be one day.
I think that can be, put
Okay.
into the budget, I don't think it's gonna be.
Okay, I just wanna remind you that that was gonna be, you'd have to include them.
I like fixed rate.
I mean, I think we did what we can. Let's get a new copy of it and see it.
So we've already, do we need to go through the jail stuff? I mean, I know we've got the
He
email.
emailed it out.
He emailed it out, so we know that's changing.
Is
That's
it
gonna
wrong?
affect.
If we didn't, we didn't, yeah.
Road department, we doing that?
I have no questions on the road. It balanced with, I've never
And
seen.
the problem is, it's so, I mean, everything's passed through that.
And he's completely, he's completely covered, so there is no additional funds from anywhere else. The jail, I'm gonna be changed from what they send. LGEA, it is just, I'm spending, from funds that we do have.
Today it is.
It can only be, I can only use a road resurfacing. So that's why that's the only line item in there, in contingent, it's in all of them, and that's what I'm for transfer line item. So how you'll see that I put it in, I've done put it in, I don't use it, I use it for, I use it for all of the budgets, I put everything in contingent. So can you transfer, we know that we're not, I went through the state grant, I put compost, so that's why I know it's all zeros, because the receipts is all zeros. ARPA and the federal grants, I guess we will change, the loss of revenue, we will take that out, put everything into contingent, and as you all decide on projects, if you can create line items.
And then if we still have to end up using that money for some reason, you can still do
Create
the
line
loss of
item, you
revenue.
can- Yeah, that can still be done, if you need it for any reason, or, this one's, it's out for the ABC funds. The only thing that is approved, I'm just spent out of there is, at the sheriff, mobile devices, that was approved in court, so we pay that every month, for their additional, other services that they provide. And the next one, I had some document fees, that's one from the clerk's office that we don't control, that we hold for her. So that's just, the same amount from the receipt side.
Equipment and supplies, I guess that's election. I don't know, ask him. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Master Miller just asked me about the,
Document fee area.
That is, I think account. One for the county clerk, that is the line item, that they told us, we create, so it's just, I don't know what they
It's
use.
$10 document storage fee that we collect $10 off of every document on the real estate side. And that money can only be used for the real estate side, can't be used for anything, vehicles or elections. I can only use that money for, well, anything on the vehicle side, I mean, on the real estate side, from getting new binders to new equipment. I had LED lights, I mean, I paid for that out of that money, you know. that
Okay.
side, so.
Okay, thank you.
It's just.
So it sounds like that, from, I don't know, Daniel had to step out, but it sounds like that there's, we can potentially see our carryover go up quite a bit. So it's according to what
But is it
his
a-
projection is.
A reasonable amount to do a 2.7 whenever we have 1.6 in the bank? That's, I don't want to run into the same thing that we did either did for the prior year, that we thought we were bringing in the 3.5 and we only brought in the 2.5. So if your expenses and we do end up. I'd rather to be more at the yard starting.
Talking about the carryover, what a reasonable amount should be for carryover.
Go ahead and plug it. See what happens.
I mean, I can tell you the plugged amount's 2,738,02 unless I've got a typo on the spreadsheet. We'll just see it when you get it all done. Cause like you said, if the revenue comes in short, you're gonna have to make it up somewhere, and there's opportunities, you can sweep it, or you can use the special reserve too.
There's only 2 in there, but.
For 800 or 500 something.
And plug in a prior carryover, then you're not anticipating that your carryover. After the next year, if I even need to bring in some more receipts, how do you want to spend this much if you were bringing over any more money? If you're gonna budget.
But we've got,
Entire prior carryover.
but the one unknowner is roughly almost $1 million in revenue that's still sitting out there from the net profits that we haven't collected yet, which is gonna be a big boost, plus our other additional revenue that's coming in, that's giving us our 700,000 or 800,000 that we've been bringing, and our traditional monthly expenses is only around 700. So you're talking additional 2, and if that big net revenue comes in the next 2 months, which is plausible that it does based on last year, that's another $1 million, and that puts us right at that 2.7. But if that doesn't come in, then no, we ain't gonna have it.
Do you have any other questions on the budget?
I think so. Thanks for all your
Thanks for everything.
help with
Felicia.
it. Good job.
Good job, questions.
It's a lot.
Court, good job.
Everybody did good.
Yeah, really good.
This is our longest meeting of the year, always.
Yeah, it's cordial too, I like it.
Isn't it, Robert?
Motion to adjourn?
Next item on the agenda, adjournment. Have a motion, a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Under 3 hours.
Look at that.
I ain't got your